Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome to the August 2024 Qualifier Weekend event. This is going to be a best of 3 Bloomburrow Sealed Event. You had to pre-qualify for the Qualifier Weekend in the first place by winning a Qualifier play-in or being top 250 Mythic. And now that you're in here, you have to qualify again. We got to get at least 7 wins before 3 losses in best of 3 Bloomburrow Sealed to get into day 2. And then if we do the same during day 2, we could get qualified for the upcoming Pro Tour and Arena Championship events. So it's a pretty cool, pretty fun time, and no matter what happens, we are going to be leaving with some amount of gems. So let's cross our fingers here, hope we get some good pulls and get matched up against some weaker sealed pools, but we'll see how the sealed lottery goes for us today as we open up our packs and see what we get to play with today. All right, here's a look at the rares that we've opened up, and they're pretty great. Lots of overlap in blue and black, although one of our blue rares is pretty unplayable. Portent of Calamity is just way too much mana to draw any cards off of it. In Sealed and Draft, much more of a constructed card, because you need to build a deck with so many different card types in it. But we've got Thunder Trap Trainer, that's consistent, great card draw, whether you cast it for 2 or if you top deck it later. The Vren the Relentless turns basically every trade ever way in your favor, because now your creatures trade off, but you get like a 2/2 rat back out of the deal at worst, which is pretty sick. It's also excellent with removal, obviously, any way that your opponent's creatures are dying. Rotten Mouth Viper, just excellent, enter the battlefield and attack triggers, giving your opponent some really rough choices between losing 4 life or sacking a permanent or discarding a card. So great pressure off the Rotten Mouth Viper as a finisher. There's also the infamous Cruel Claw, which can cheat some spells out for free just by discarding some cards. Pretty nasty card there. And Hugs is both just incredibly large for its mana cost, and it's a very good card draw spell because you can dump X mana into it to draw X cards. So really powerful rares overall. The weakest ones are Portent of Calamity, which I'm basically just not going to play, and Lunar Convocation, which is very dependent on the other cards we have in the sealed pool, so a lot harder to pull off in sealed than draft, but it can still be really good in a black-white bats deck that has a lot of good ways to gain life. The nice thing about the card is it does have a built-in way to lose the life, so you can just pay 2 life to draw the card on this thing, and then you'll have lost life this turn. So you really just need to find consistent ways to gain life, and then you can spend the 2 to pay 2 life, draw a card, and get your 1/1 bat during your end step. So cool card, fun build around, but very dependent on what else is in the sealed pool. So overall, very strong rares though. Definitely looking in the blue and black directions out of the sealed pool, but we'll definitely take a look at our colorless and our multicolored spells first. Colorless can show us what kind of fixing we have to see exactly how splashy we can get, and we actually have Uncharted Haven. This is whatever color we need it to be. 2 Fountain Port Bells we can search for whatever basic we need, and 2 3-tree mascots we can filter mana through, and a Patchwork Banner that can tap for a mana of any color. So we actually, by Bloomburrow standards, have really, really good fixing. Just in the quantity of fixing that we have, it's pretty consistent. Now, a lot of these spells are pretty weak by fixing standards, like 3-tree mascot, where it's just going to filter 1 mana once per turn, and it only has 1 toughness, so it's very, very fragile. But again, by Bloomburrow standards, Fountain Port Bell, 3-tree mascot, mediocre fixing is about what you're going to get. So this does leave us open to like playing blue-black and splashing in red for the infamous Cruel Claw or some other stuff like that. This is definitely enough fixing to do that, so I'm certainly happy to see that. Let's see what we have out of multicolored, see if there's a super clear direction there. I mean, starting in green-blue, if it weren't for our rares, starting with 2 Pawn Prophets and a Lily Splash Mentor does push me towards Frogs a little bit. Definitely going to keep that in my mind. Frogs is my favorite archetype in general. And these cards go together like peanut butter and jelly. They're just absolutely delicious. And Pawn Prophet is one of these hybrid mana cards that can fit into a green or a blue deck. So that is nice to consider. If we do go like blue-black, the card is just a great value play up front. especially because there are cards running around like 3-Tree Mascot that are just like some people are going to have to play 2-mana 2/1s, and then your 2-mana 1/1 gets to trade into it, and you're up a card because you drew a card when you played it. So definitely a fan of the Pawn Prophets, and if we can go green-blue, the Splash Mentor is great too. Some other great hybrid cards, if we're green or white, we'll definitely play Head of the Homestead. Veteran Guard Mouse, Tempest Angler, those are definitely much more filler. Seed Pod Squire, Moonrise Cleric. Like, if we're in the colors, fine, but I'm not gonna eyeball them as anything huge. There's the Mythics. We already saw those. What else in multicolored? That's it. Just those hybrid cards and those Mythics. All right. So the only new information we really got looking at the multicolored, outside of the colorless stuff, was that green-blue is actually kind of spicy. So let's check all our colors individually now. See what we've got the support for. So white is pretty low on the quantity of spells that we have here, but the quality is definitely up there. I would not cut very many of these. I'd probably cut Rabbit Response because we're pretty low on creatures here. Mabel's Metal as well, just some combat tricky stuff in a lower creature count deck. So if we don't have a secondary color with a ton of creatures, this won't work out super well, especially not these two. But big fan of the Driftgloom Coyotes, just some top-end creatures that come with removal attached. Banishing Light, another removal spell, so it's got great removal, and it's got the Intrepid Rabbit, which is just an excellent card in general. Elder's pretty good too. Like, some very good cards here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 white cards total that are playable in a pinch. If we have enough creatures in our other color, maybe we have 9. That's kind of hard to be half of a deck. In blue, we have Mind Whisker. That's a pretty great uncommon. Surveil 1 during your upkeep, so you can set up your draws, and late in the game, it's going to make your opponent's entire board worse, which is great. Plume Crate Escort is fantastic. It can save one of your creatures from removal and get you an efficient evasive threat at the same time. We only have 1 Otter out of blue, so the Pearl of Wisdoms look a little awkward, but Sealed is slow enough that 3 mana draw 2 is probably still fine for a little bit of card advantage there. Downdraft, fine interaction. Gossip's Talent's probably way too slow. Portent is pretty bad. Sky Skipper's nothing special. Mind Spiral, nothing special. Pearl of Wisdom, nothing special. Denial, nothing special. There's a lot of filler here, but it's playable filler, and by playing all that filler, we get 1 great rare, 2 great uncommons, and potentially the very good rat rare as well, if we go blue-black. So not a huge fan of the color outside of the bomb power that it gives us access to, but it definitely gives us access to bomb power. Now black, this looks a little better than the blue. Not a ton, there's definitely filler in here, but we have 2 savers for removal. We've got actually a few rats here with Marsh Stalker and double Thornplate Intimidator. And then we of course have the bomb Rottenmouth Viper, and we would have the bomb blue-black rat in this deck. Vren the Relentless. So yeah, I like the creature types here to go with the Vren. I like that we get the Viper. I like that we have double removal off of Saver and a removal spell from Consumed by Greed. Solid card draw with Dire Sight, Sinister Monolith. We want to play around with those. Probably only play 1 or 2 of these, especially if we're playing blue-black where we have 2 other draw spells to choose from. We'll have to make some decisions there. We don't want to run that much cards, or that many cards that are purely card draw, but black looks like a perfectly solid color. Now our red. I mean, if we have a good aggressive color that has good top-end creatures, we could go for some aggro nonsense here and try to cheese people out before they establish a good board. Because we have we have 2 of the most aggressive 1-drops in the format. The Heartfire Hero, whenever you target them, they get a +1/+1 counter on them. You really need the ways to target them, though, and this deck has a single way, just a Raccoon Rallier, to target things over and over again. Outside of that, we can try to Playful Shove our own Heartfire Hero, or if we go like red-white, we had like 2 or 3 combat tricks. Yeah, we have the Heartfire Hero, but no great consistent ways to Valiant trigger them. Although I suppose the Valley Rallies technically, if we're giving our opponent a food token, we can target our own Heartfire Hero. I don't know. It's got good 1- and 2-drop aggressive cards, and then just nothing else. It's got cheap 1 and 2 mana aggro cards, a little bit of cheap removal, so it really needs a secondary color with beefier creatures and good removal as well to make a good aggro deck, and that's about the only thing I could do is make a good aggro deck. So, certainly interesting, but I think, well, I think one of our weaker colors, but if you look at this is kind of hilarious. Our red and our green look literally made for each other, and that gives us our green-red rare, our hugs, and we could splash in the black rares, the weasel and the big black snake thing at the top of the curve. Let's see. So, I mean, we know the mana curve looks right to go green and red together, but are the green cards actually that good? Not a huge fan of that one. Okay, yeah, they're good. They're pretty good. And I get to play Heaped Harvest towards fixing for the splash instead of some of the weaker splash fixing. Okay, not a lot of tokens here. Although with a lot of red Valiant cards, Herbalist might still be playable just to target our creature each turn. That's kind of interesting. I like Sticky Tongue Sentinel with Hunter's Talent a lot. I mean, this card's just incredible in general, but very good with Sentinel. It looks like our green actually goes really well with Valiant because we have a not Sticky Tongue Sentinel, a Hazard Root Herbalist that can be buffing our Valiant card every turn. Longstalk Brawl and Hunter's Talent are both removal spells that target one of our own creatures. Overprotect is a fantastic combat trick that targets our own creature, and Tree Guard Duo has a great enter the battlefield effect that targets our own creature. So I actually think the synergy here is pretty sweet for green-red, and we get a little better fixing having the Heaped Harvest as well as all the colorless fixing towards the red splash, or sorry, the black splash for the serpent and the weasel. So green-black splash red feels like where I want to be here, but I think blue-black would certainly be a playable deck too. If you wanted to just be like blue-black rats, that's a path to take things. Probably still splashing the red, as I was saying before. So the blue-black build would look something a little like this. Definitely something we could do. We could play around with it. We have 5 rats and 2 changelings. So banner doesn't look incredible, but it's still going to be fixing for us. Yeah, we get Cruel Claw, Vren, and Rottenmouth Viper as the huge reasons to be in the color. But decent removal, double saver, consumed by greed, little card draw with Dire Sight, Monolith, some pawn profits. Yeah, we get the Thunder Trap Trainer out of the blue as well. Certainly serviceable. We can treat that as a 6-drop because I have so many 2s. Super solid deck. Super solid deck. But if we swap things around now, take a look at the Gruul splashing black. We still splash in the Cruel Claw here. Colorless, there's the fixing, the banner, and out of black, savers could be splashable if we really need them. Leave that in for a second, but definitely Rottenmouth Viper, super splashable. So, 57 cards, we get 17 cuts. I think 2 Fountain Port Bell and Uncharted Haven, basically giving us 3 sources of fixing out of the lands alone, is an excellent start to where with Patchwork Banner and Heaped Harvest, that's 5 sources of fixing plus 1 swamp would be 6 ways to get the black mana for just 2 black cards if I only run Cruel Claw Viper, which is probably going to be where it's at, so I can cut the more mediocre fixing like the double mascot here. Although I'd probably want to cut the savers as well, but that's fine. I've got some cheap red removal and some green removal with Brawl, Hunter's Talent, yeah. So we get to cut the mascots. We want to cut at least 1 land for a Fountain Port Bell. 16 land, 2 Bell is kind of like an 18 land deck, although we do get taxed for playing the Bell. Let's sort of play it as a tap land, but it's a little more like a double tap land because you have to spend 2 mana out of it to get the card back. So I don't know if I cut lands completely 1 for it. Probably still. With 2 3-drops that ramp up and not actually that high of a curve. I think I can cut 2 lands here. That's what I did with the other deck. We've got very few tokens, we've got no huge Kindle Spark Duo synergies, and we have a lot of 3-drops in general. So drop those out of here. No big Sentries synergy. Guard Mouse. Probably cut all that. Still 17 creatures, that's plenty. Could still cut 1 or 2 more, honestly. The rallies, recycling. Be a cash grab with very few squirrels. 0 squirrels, yeah. Get out of here. Still 2 more cuts. We are kind of a 3-color deck here. We have 7 sources towards Pawn Profit total. Well, 7 natural sources. We've got plenty of ways to fix for a second green, but turn 2 Pawn Profit is not going to be that consistent. Maybe that's an option to cut. I don't know. I can just cut these for now. Just trying to get the gist of this deck versus the blue-black deck. So the blue-black deck has a little better rares. The removal's pretty on par. Fixing is slightly better here. Thanks to Heaped Harvest instead of just the 2 ones. There's some stuff here that's pretty gambly, not that consistent, like the Heartfire heroes are more cute than anything. With Brawl, Rallier, Shove, Talent, Overprotect, Herbalist, Tree Guard Duo. It sounds like a lot. I did list a lot of names, but it's really just like, what, 6, 7 ways to target them? Definitely got filler here, but we have filler in the other deck as well. Here we just have like some 2-mana 2/2s that don't do much most of the time. This is a 3-mana 4/4 that does very little unless we specifically have the Heartfire hero combo going. Is the Patchwork Banner any better in this deck? Nope. We have 5 warriors, so we would Patchwork Banner on warriors, which is hilarious. But we had more rats than that in the other deck, or we had at least 5. We had 5 and 2 changelings in the other deck, so I guess if we put the 2 changelings back in, it would be equal amounts of Patchwork Banner buffs. These decks feel really comparable, honestly. They both got some filler here. They could draw some really weak hands, but they also both have some really powerful stuff going on. They could draw into Magical Christmas Land. What if we blended the decks together a little bit and met in the middle and went green, black, splash the blue? Does that make any sense? We wouldn't get to play the Cruel Claw, which is something we were splashing in either deck, but we would get to play Rotten Mouth Viper, as well as the Rat rare and the other blue rare. And then green and black just looked like the strongest 2 colors in general. So we play a little less rares to just play the 2 best colors in the sealed pool, which may be worth it. Let's see. Take a look at all the colors again, but I'm pretty sure it was green and black as the best colors. So then we can play the best colors and most of the best rares still. Yeah, just throw the Thunder Trap Trainer in there, because this is a good splash, right? Because if you Offspring it for 6 mana, it's a great value play. So we can treat it as a 6-drop that needs a single blue mana. We can wait for that for sure. Yeah, I mean, black is not that good. To be fair, like, I really don't feel like any of these colors are that incredible. I don't think there is a huge standout best color. Really don't like a lot of these blue spells. Blue has some of the highest quantity, but like a lot of these are mediocre. We're just shoving them in as filler. White has some of the best quality, but it's just too empty, it feels. It's completely off of all of our rares, so we would have to splash just to get like a single rare into the deck. Unless they go like blue white or black white, which does not feel like a thing. Then I get to play like this mythic without splashing. No. Green has just no early game, so it has to be paired with something else that's got some early game. And that's the problem with our green-black deck, but we can treat 2 Savers as early plays, which helps. Throw in an Otter at 6 mana, we'd throw in a Wren at 4. I guess we could play double Pawn Profit here, especially splashing blue. So double Pawn Profit towards the 2 drops. Splashing blue means we get to play the Lily Splash Mentor, so we can do the Pawn Profit Lily Splash Mentor if we splash in this direction. Maybe I have talked myself into it off of that little trick right there. That we get the Lily Splash Pawn Profit. It's definitely green-black, blue-black, or green-red. A lot of top end here, if you count the offspring abilities on those cards. As something we can do really late in the game. Gives me a lot of Brambleguard Veteran expenditures as well. Don't play the Herbalist anymore. Soothsayer's not great here. This is a super top-heavy deck, but hopefully it has the cheap removal to protect itself, the cheap card draw to buy the time. I mean, sealed decks, or sealed games in general tend to go later. You want to be able to win the longer grindier games. This deck can really win the longer grindier games with how much top end it has towards the end of things. A little bit of a lower creature count, but 15 is still good. Some combination of this stuff for the cuts. The Dire Sight is a possibility too. Yeah, I forgot we still have to put the bells and the banner in here for sure. It's a better banner deck. It's banner on frogs, which is funny. If I really want more early game plays, I can play the little mascot things. I guess a mascot would be better than a Ravine Raider at least. I just really don't like 2 mana 2/1 as a stat line. Yeah, I'll play one over the Ravine Raider. Slightly more fixing into the deck. Okay, I did just put 2 bells in here. We can cut 1 land for those pretty easily and be on like an 18 land build where 2 of our lands are Fountain Port bells. Definitely cut an island. 6 more cuts. Uh-oh. Still another cut here. 1 piece of top end. I only have 3 raccoons. I guess 4. 2 veteran, 1 mascot. And the Rampager. That's still a 3 mana 3/4. Still a sturdy blocker, if nothing else. But perhaps that could be a cut. All of our green removal needs us to have creatures on board, though, so I really don't want to cut any more of our cheap creatures. Such a clump at 4. But this is all like the 4+. Tons of stuff to do with the mana later. 2 pieces of full-on mana ramp and a lot of fixing in this deck. It's just top end galore here. I like the grind fest. I like the strat here. But I do probably drop some amount of the top end galore. Maybe the Rampager. Go for double Intimidator for more rats with Ren. Gives me another creature type I have the maximum amount of for banner, so we can go banner for rats or frogs. And we're literally just treating this as a 3-4 to slow the game down. I mean, it's a 3-4 that attacks as a 4-5 vigilance now, and then it does buff itself. And the mascot, but that's going to be rare. Yeah, not an incredibly clear sealed pool here. 3 pretty equally viable builds. None of them are incredible. All of them have pretty big flaws, a good chunk of filler, and some rough mana, but I think I'm going to roll with this one. Really like the idea of having the maximum top end, a lot of which is pretty flexible, where as long as we make it to turn 4, we can slam down tons of blockers, but if we do make it to really high mana values, we can dump even more mana into our stuff, grind out the game even better. So let's double check the mana base here, definitely more green than anything else. We've got some double green cards that are pretty important. I'm going to add another green over a black source with only 1 double black card. And yeah, I'm going to call it a deck here. Get into that gameplay. In a twist of fate that should be surprising to nobody who has been watching the channel for a long time, I kept going back and forth and debating and looking over the decks. I went back to the more aggressive, more streamlined build. I think there's just a lot of value to be had in any deck that can play to the board quickly, and any deck that can curve out efficiently and consistently, and this color pair, the Gruul deck, was the best in our sealed pool of playing to the board quickly and consistently, and basically always doing something in every game with its mana. So I like this a lot as a starting build, and the nice thing about being in best of 3 is if we are in matchups where we know we're going to have plenty of time to dirtle around and get to the late game, we can pivot over to that Sultai deck that I just built and play the deck. Like, if we know that we're not going to get aggroed out and steamrolled or anything, and we have plenty of time to play a grindier deck with bigger bombs, we can move over to that deck and go for it. But I like this a lot as a starting point. It's a pretty safe starting point. It can cheese out some victories against slower decks. It can compete with other aggressive decks very well. It can even grind out a little bit with powerful big card draw, or powerful big, I don't know, just massive bombs that can rip our opponent's stuff away from them. It just looks like a really solid, really consistent deck. And while it's not going to have as high of highs as some of our other decks potentially, it's really, really got consistency going for that. And that is a big, big factor here. So I am actually going to lock things in on the Gruul deck, Splashing Black, for the infamous Cruel Claw and Rottenmouth Viper. And we will call it a deck here. And we will go ahead and hop into the Qualifier Weekend event for round number 1. All right, here we are for game 1 of round 1 of the Qualifier Weekend, and a really unfortunate start here. We are on the draw, which means if it goes to 3 games, we're going to be on the draw 2 out of 3 games, so disadvantage twice there, and this is pretty much a forced mulligan to start things off. We cannot just rely on making it to 6 mana with no castable spells until then. The Overprotect doesn't do anything without a creature in the first place. It's way too easy to draw poorly here. We're going to take the mulligan. This is a little better, but not too much. Hunter's Talent with no creatures yet, but if we find a creature, we can do the Hunter's Talent and then the Sticky Tongue Sentinel, which will be fantastic. Probably actually have to get rid of Longstock Brawl here to make sure I'm going to have the mana to do all my stuff. So I'll still have Shove and Talent, and I could even double Talent if we find another creature. Yeah. Alright, we find another removal spell, so definitely don't feel bad about ditching the first one now. Really hoping they play a 1 toughness card. That is a 2 toughness card. Sad day, but hey, perfect draw. We found a 2-drop creature. Now we have something on the board to cast our Hunter's Talent onto, so we can Sticky Tongue Sentinel back the Hunter's Talent. just be up a card there, which should be great. Okay, they don't have any tokens on board yet to make the Warren Guard a 3/2 attacker, but the trade wouldn't be horrible here. The big flaw is that I won't be able to do my Hunter's Talent thing if I take the trade, so I'm not going to do that. I would like to kill the host before their next turn to stop our opponent from being able to potentially play the offspring rabbits. So like a 3/2 that comes with a 1/1 and they both give a buff here. That would be an incredible curve from our opponent if they have that, but really want to make sure that doesn't happen to us. Because that card is just a common. That's a beautiful draw, wow. So now I could Heartfire Hero and Hunter's Talent on the Heartfire Hero to kill the Warren Guard. I mean, I'll attack first and see if we can overprotect away the 2/4, because that body is an issue. We cannot overprotect the 2/4, that's fine. Well, I get that damage in then. So here's Heartfire Hero, and then here's Hunter Talent. I could overprotect on blocks. Really not a huge fan of overprotecting or playing combat tricks in general on blocks, because our opponent can just cast their sorcery speed spells like Kindle Spark Duo during main phase 2, and that'll make it so if they have any instance in their entire hand, they can use their interaction before our overprotect resolves, and it will be very bad for us. Okay, so 15 life to 16. This Playful Shove doesn't do anything. I guess I could put a counter on Heartfire Hero and draw a card. That is something. But I imagine we're on Sticky Tongue Sentinel picking up the Hunter's Talent right now. However, the Overprotect still looks pretty good, so I should probably send in to have that as an option here. But I don't want to send in with both, because obviously if they block both of them, I can only overprotect one, and that ends pretty poorly. When you gain or lose life during your turn, they can just Warren Elder it up, though, and kill Sentinel without even spending a card. This is sorcery speed. Yeah, Sunspine Lynx. Now nobody can gain life. Patchwork Banner on Frogs is something. The lack of land draws is an issue. One more mana, I feel really safe here. We could Hunter's Talent and hold up Overprotect. Or I could Patchwork Banner and Hunter's Talent there, which would be good too. That'd actually probably be the best. I'd do it on Mice and then Hunter's Talent with Hero. The 5/4. It's kind of yikes. Especially with this Warren Elder running around. I might have to just shoot the Warren Elder, because the talent isn't big enough to kill the Witness yet anyway. Then I just keep taking Witness damage. Oof. Yeah, painful position with these land draws. Duo keeps shooting me here. Could gamble, shove the hero in any land draw, lets me Hunter's Talent the Witness now. It's too much of a gamble though, because if we miss, it's just miserable. Just want any land so I can Patchwork Banner and then Overprotect on blocks. Since they're playing off the top, Overprotecting on blocks is not that risky, because they would have to just top deck the combat trick immediately. Very good draw there. Clear out the reach blocker. I'd have to double block into this Lynx, which I probably have to do. At 10, I go to 7 if I don't kill it against a Kindle Spark Duo. Goodbye, team. Top deck land, and we're killing the witness here. Okay. So we have the overprotect on the witness, and then our opponent's playing off the top. Oh, it doesn't give reach. Never mind. We don't have the overprotect on the witness. Shoot. I should have bannered into the mascot then. I don't know why I thought that gave reach. I guess I'm used to the keyword soup green tricks all giving reach. I mean, I have to draw into something now, so I have to just cycle the playful shove, which is quite disappointing. Dang, we had all the tools we needed to get the board in our favor if we could cast them all at the right time, but we just got screwed in the early game mana-wise. If I remember right, I think we're on raccoons mostly. What's left in the deck? We got the mascot, so I can name anything, but we have one mouse, one lizard, one raccoon, two more raccoons, another raccoon. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 raccoons left. And only 1 or 2 of all the other types. I'm dead so fast now. Well, I don't think this was anything wrong with the deck that we started off game 1. I think it was just a rough game. Had to mull to 6, and then that one card that we were down mattered a lot. Because if the one card was a land, we would have got there. But instead, we are deaded. Because I could not cast all the spells in the early game. Yeah, just stuck on mana there. I think this deck has our best matchup against their deck. I think our other builds are just slower and would have had an even worse time that game. Their deck looks pretty dang aggressive. It probably has potential for blowout curves with Warren Guard into Warren Elder into the Intrepid Rabbit style stuff with their Harvest Right host. Yeah, I just need to hit my land drops. We cannot start with a 6-lander, and we cannot get stuck on 3 mana. We gotta hit average land counts this time. Fingers crossed, hoping for the best. I guess our opening hand was technically a 5-lander, but it was a 5-lander with a combat trick, so basically a 6-lander. Okay. Try to Flame Cash Gecko into Cruel Claw. 3 castable spells if I hit any land in the whole deck. 1 castable spell no matter what, and that castable spell can discard green cards to try to find the land as a worst-ditch effort, a worst-case scenario thing. Oh yeah, discard a veteran to try to find lands. Oh, Jesus, their deck is good. I hate my life right now. There is the land for Cruel Claw. This is whenever Cruel Claw deals damage to a player. And that can start ditching my green spells to cast other things for free. Cool. There's the green source. That is a very big one. Cruel Claw is probably still better than our 4-drop Raccoon. We saw one take out the trash from our opponent for removal, and they have an instant here that costs 2 if they're not playing in full control mode. So it may be best to play around the take out the trash and not run out the 3 toughness Cruel Claw, because that's the only 2 mana instant that I recall, at least the only removal I recall seeing in game 1. So I guess I will actually play the Raccoon. And they have to just take out the trash the Gecko here, or keep it for later. Alright, keep it for later if that is what they have in hand. Well, that is obviously take out the trash. They're going to use it as a combat trick to kill the Rampager through the first strike. So we just take the damage. We assault their lifelinker. We keep the Cruel Claw back for now. Pretty happy with the read on take out the trash, not playing Cruel Claw here. Tree Guard Duo. That is actually a fantastic draw. Because now I have a 3/4 blocker to block the Stoat and force them to take out the trash to kill something that is much less impactful than the Rampager. Because the impact from this is the ETB. I guess with Sticky Tongue Sentinel I could re-up the ETB later, but... I think it's worth just ditching it to get rid of the take out the trash. Alright. Or they use it on the hero, and that works fine. Now Stoat does not get in without another trick. I can double block the Gecko to kill it, then I get to kill Life Creed Duo here and shut off their life gain. Yeah, this is fine. Not going to be using Gecko's ability for a long time, because we need all our mana right now. Alright, show me double take out the trash. I still need to get the other one out of their way for Cruel Claw. This one a combat trick instead. Sazakap's Brew. It's pretty good. At least I get a fish back. The Stoat has been pretty OP here. If I Cruel Claw this turn, I can Sentinel and Assault next turn by picking up a land. Seems fine. This is such a free bluff for my opponent. There's no world where I can block this with 4 cards up. But they don't even need to have anything in their hand to make that attack. Yep. There's the Spark Shooter. Hello, Hugs. You're pretty good, but I would like to guarantee a Cruel Claw hit, discarding Sentinel. So I'm going to do that. Oh, get out of here, trash. You garbage. Two cards left. One is the Waxwane Witness back at it again. Okay. Double block the Cruel Claw. I kill the Warren Guard. That is not profitable. Rampager gets in for free, though. They cannot even block it. Rampager actually just sick against their deck. Okay. I like this build. I feel like this is the build we want here. With their cheap aggressive cards like Stoat and Warren Guard and stuff, I don't think we can pivot to anything slower than this. I could try to go for a build that has double Saver against the Stoat and stuff. Make my mana base worse, but we've already had mana issues 2 games in a row. I really don't want to make the mana base any worse, even if it does make the removal better against what they have. Yeah, I'm not toying with it. We're just gonna hop back in there. Guess I could play Wildfire Howl. It's a sideboard piece. None of the green cards, really. Just kills so much of my own stuff, though. This is just not a good deck for Wildfire Howl. Unless I just remove all my cheap creatures and play 1 Wildfire Howl, and then if I don't draw Wildfire Howl, I just lose. But if I do draw it, I just win. It's way too much of a gamble to me. Let's just get back in there. Here we are for game 3 of round 1 on the draw. This is our best hand yet. Heartfire Hero into Gecko for the mana discount for Mascot. 3 creatures on board on turn 2, followed up with a Hunter's Talent to clear a path. We are on the draw, but we can try to turn this into a game where we are in the aggressive lead pretty quickly. There's even a Cruel Claw to follow it all up with, thanks to the Mascot's fixing. No world where we can block that against a deck with Sazakap's Brew, where they can discard a card, draw a card, give that +2/+0, which is +3/+1. Eat our Heartfire Hero for free. And that's why you don't take those blocks. I do need to top deck a land, ideally. Well, let's see what we got here. Even without the top deck land, we have a Hunter's Talent coming up. There's the Harvest Right Host. Can't kill that with Hunter's Talent. Now I can't kill the hero with it either, thanks to the host's ability. We did not top deck a land. I could play Rottenmouth Viper if I sack my whole board. We haven't seen any removal from their deck outside of Take Out the Trash, but if they have a Banishing Light in their sealed pool and they play it here, we just lose the game if I play this. Because I have to sack my whole board to cast that this turn. I can sack a Hunter's Talent towards it, which is nice later, but Hunter's Talent doesn't even kill anything right now, so it's not nice right now. Do I just play a Scribe or discard a Scribe to draw a card? I guess I just play a Scribe. Just work our way towards the Viper. At least we have enough creatures they can't really attack in. Just get to stare at each other. Warren Elder, oh my god. That's another Heartfire Hero trigger, and now the Elder to buff the whole board would be monumental. What is this going to be? Take Out the Trash? Unless it's a trick we haven't seen, we can play around Take Out the Trash with a triple block. Still just lose a 2/2 and a 1/1 if they don't have it. I'm so choked on mana, I don't think I can use Gecko's ability anyway. Because even if I don't hit the land, we're probably just Hunter's Talenting the Elder. And then if I don't hit the land in 2 turns, that's just astronomically unlikely. Any land gets us either of these if we keep Mascot around. So yeah, we just do this, and now they can't Take Out the Trash to win this. But they get to kill a 2/2 and a 1/1. Land, land, land. Oh, baby, let's go. Unless it's a second Sazakap screw or something. But we've only seen one, and we've seen two take out the trashes. Oh, you can take out the trash your own creature? Oh, but then it dies because they shot it for 3. Never mind. I thought they were a genius for a second, then I was like, oh, right. They probably had the exact same thought. They're like, ooh, I can Valiant for 5. Wait. Wait. It's been dealt 7 now. Hard reads in game 3, by the way. We read Sazakap's Brew, and then we read Take Out the Trash as their 2 cards. Even if we lose this game, I think I got the moral victory here. Knowing what's going on. 6th Sense this game. Sixth Sense, also known as this is game 3 of a best of 3 we've seen their instance. So it's a lot easier to try to figure it out. Three. I don't want to do this that much, but oh, they're over it. Let's go. I was gonna say I don't want to do this. I completely forgot this is only 2 mana to level up on level 2. So I thought I was spending 4 mana to level it up so that I could get attacks in here against the 3/3. But no, I was only spending 2 mana on that, so it's actually perfect. I actually do want to do that. Playing Mascot and leveling up Talent is an incredible use of our mana for the turn. So I'm super happy with that. And we're going to attack with Scribe because we don't want to trade Hero into that, where Hero and Hunter's Talent can get into being just so much bigger. Right, if I talent on the Hero, it's a 4/3 trample and just immediately trades off and we're sad. Although, we would deal a considerable amount of damage to our opponent. We trample for 1 and hit for an additional 4. Maybe it would still be worth Valianting onto the Heartfire Hero, over buffing the Whisker Quill Scribe there. I don't know. All I know is game looked a little rocky there. The round looked a little rocky there those first couple games, with some mana issues there, some mulligans, stuff like that, but really recovered in the end game. We got the bad luck out of the way early and the good luck when it mattered in the end, and that is 1-0 heading into round 2. Here we are for round 2. Oh, Flame Cash Gecko makes this barely keepable. They kill the Gecko and we cry, but I am going to keep it because everything we draw in the entire deck is castable. We even have double red, double green on Hugs. So we're just planning on doing a lot of stuff with Flame Cash Gecko with this hand. Put a lot of mana into it. First draw is land number 6, baby. Let's go. Land number 7, land number 7. Aw, Rotten Mouth Viper. That card's really good. One toughness creature. One toughness creature. They're on 3 forests, so there are almost no green creatures they could play that would work. I guess they could play the frog. Yeah, that's a 4 toughness creature. Oh, well, there's land 6. We found it. We're golden. This attacks as a 2/4, so I might as well attack into it here, threatening a combat trick. Rawr. No blocks. You love to see it. Do I discard a card, draw a card, or do I just draw a card? Against triple green, the odds of playful shove stacking up in anything great is pretty low. Let's just fully draw a card. Hello? I did want to play my land first, so my mana looks more threatening as tricks to fight the Herbalist, but maybe it wasn't worth it because we do have a tap land in the deck. Oh god, no. Oh, the Hunter's Talent on the Gecko. That's super bad, but they have only played one creature. No! Oh, that draw's real bad. Hunter's Talent with no creatures left. They found their black source. So they kept a one-color hand here. And they're doing fine. Attacking with a 3-power trampling herbalist. I guess I could have... There's no way this would be right, but I could play the Hunter's Talent for no value just to sack it for Viper. 2 for 1 myself to play Viper a turn earlier. Feels really, really wrong to do that. I hate that their second color is black, because that means it's really easy for them to have some removal spell that just says, like, destroy target creature on Viper. Instead of green removal that might not have enough power to kill a 6 toughness card. Oh, wow. Well, technically not max punished. Max punish would be every single draw being a land, but really close. Really close. Statistically speaking, we're getting punished pretty dang hard right now. More than half our draws have been lands when less than half of our deck, much less than half of our deck was lands since we had our opener. There's Carrot Cake, which is a great draw at this point in the game. Gives them a double scry to make sure they draw into gas. The Forger with the Carrot Cake. Alright, well. We needed to draw a spell that mattered before turn 6, and we did not. We had Gecko and Playful Shove in the opener. We drew a 6-drop as the only spell that actually does anything. Wow. Alright. Guess I'll die. They are playing off the top, so we're not technically done on board yet, but we are going to die pretty dang quickly. They might have scryed to the top if they didn't scry in their upkeep. Yep, Death Touch, Trample, Swing. We need to Hunter's Talent the Herbalist to stop that nonsense. Okay, they don't have a 4-power creature, so that's fine. Unless they cast one here. Wow. Okay. The draws the 4-power creatures that are drawing 2 cards a turn now. Oh, Curlclaw, so good earlier. Not so good right now. Still think I have to Hunter's Talent Herbalist over anybody else right now. Nine life is not enough to attack with the Viper here. Trample that in. Block 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it is. We need to get a lot of blight counters on this to do something. This blight does a lot of work. Oh, if they sack Carrot Cake to the Viper, though, they just get the rabbit. Jeez. Block 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Yeah, they actually just lethal me if I attack here, because they sack the carrot cake, and then I can only block not enough damage because trample. I can block... if they give Rampager trample, that means I could block that and get trampled over for 2... So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, take exact lethal, or I block there, and take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, take exact lethal. Scry to the bottom from our opponent's carrot cake, and a draw from Hunter's Talent. There's a take out the trash for us. No raccoon on board. A trampling Cruel Claw, if they didn't have Rampager on board, would be pretty likely to cast something for free. I have no raccoons on board, so I can't discard a card, draw a card off of take out the trash, which is pretty bad. They can't kill the Viper easily if I attack in with that with trample, and I hold up to take out the trash. I can probably survive next turn. I guess Cruel Claw is blocking poorly enough that that would be the attack here. To get a Cruel Claw trigger, if they don't have removal. Well, that's incredible. So now they're the only one with the draw 2 per turn card draw engine. Just getting completely steamrolled. Cruel Claw doesn't get trample this turn, so I'm not going to connect with it, even through a take out the trash. Because they block with a 4-4 and anything else, and I just run into the 4-4. Alright, well, they're the only player drawing 2 cards a turn, so the longer this game goes on, the farther their advantage is going to peel in their favor, so I need Rottenmouth Viper to somehow survive and stack up enough blight counters to outrace them. It's the only way we're doing this is if we are rolling up the blight counter number. If I die next turn, I die next turn. Because if I'm not attacking with this Viper, I'm just making it more, or less and less likely I have any way to crawl back out of this. The only way is if they just miss on their next couple draws and we get a couple Viper attacks for enough blight counters to slowly whittle the board in our favor. Or the life totals. Valley Might Caller. Life Creed Duo. The oops, since they missed 1 point of life gain, I guess. Attack with Rampager Forager, give Rampager Trample here. We take out the trash, the Forager. Take 4, go to 5. They draw a card still, we find a 2-2, and we're just dead, right? Can block. Rampager Might Caller take 4 if I play Whisker Quill Scribe, but the trample means they find lethal by buffing anything. If I play Scribe and pass turn, they have lethal on board. Block, block, block. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage coming in, but they give +1/+0 to one of those things to the flyer, since I can't block the flyer. So I just take exactsies. So I just need them to have a big misplay on blocks here somehow. I need the Blight to go crazy. I need the Cruel Claw to hit something insane. I need a massive misplay on blocks. I need something. This game has ended up way closer than I thought. I think from like turn 5 when we basically got to play one spell all game, I was pretty confident the game was over. But we've actually evened out the life totals pretty well here, even though I am going to just die on the crackback. Okay, that is a lethal crackback thanks to Trample because Hunter's Talent is a broken magic card. So we lose. One removal spell would have just so won the game though. That would have been an incredible turn for us if we had the Assault on the Rampager here. But we don't. We can't even block it with the Scribe in the first place. So they just trample that. Actually wildly close for our really bad opener. Guess I should have mulliganed more aggressively. I think that is the only thing we really could have done differently there. There's nowhere we could have found an extra point of damage to change that game, because if we had found an extra point of damage, they could have just sacked another permanent and then had 4 more life. So them being at 1 instead of 0 is not something that ever would have changed. They were at 1 because they chose to lose 4 instead of sacking a Hunter's Talent or something. That would have been a free sack. Still really like the core deck in general. Think it's solid in the archetype. We both had some awkward openers. They were pretty slow and dirtily there. Just hope for a repeat around 1. Just hope to draw a little better. Let's get back in there. On the play here, excellent opener. Let's go. Hunter's Talent Heartfire Hero is absurd when we get that to level 2. I'm going to talent anything they play just because of how good it is when we level 2 it, and even if they kill the first hero, we have a second to keep doing that. Okay, and they don't play anything, so we play the Mascot. And then I can hero plus talent next turn, and that'll be beautiful. No creatures. Fine by me. They got Paw Patch Formation in hand here. I'm not going to talent with no legal targets. If they play any creature, I can talent and level it up next turn. So they're going to draw a card, get a food, yep. Two toughness creature, 2 toughness creature, 4 toughness creature. Gross. Well, they have to play around a trick here. I mean, they should play around a trick here, probably. I guess I could always just play Rampager. But I feel like they should not block a Heartfire hero if I attack all 3. And then I could get the Hunter's Talent turn here. I guess it's not worth the risk. We have such a solid alternate play. There we go. As long as they don't play something that makes 2 creatures here. Oh, they're just going to short bow it up. Not the herbalist, not the herbalist, not the herbalist. No! Snap blocks if they send that anywhere. Okay. Hey, Cruel Claw. Big fan. But our Hunter's Talent turn is real good too. Doing the Hunter's Talent thing. Something very important to mention here is that Valiant is once per turn, which is why we are not attacking with that Heartfire hero. It will very much die to the Herbalist. It will ping for 3. We can sack it to deal 3 if we want, I guess. But I'd rather attack with it next turn when it's a 3-3, and they have to double block and I get to kill something else with it. And still hit them for 3 or 4. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. 4-power Heartfire hero coming in. Do a bounce and a trade, preserve their life total. But then the Heartfire hero is a 5-power trampler next swing. Could draw the card here, but I can also set up a Cruel Claw with the ability to give it trample every turn, and I'd rather do that. If they have the board wipe, we lose. We didn't see it game 1, but we only saw like half their library game 1. There's the Heap Harvest for the black source. I don't believe we saw what they're splashing for yet, so I'm not sure. Take my 3. Assault. Cool. Do I exile a short bow? Their blocks are significantly worse. But then I can't cast anything off Cruel Claw. Now we're probably just trying to cast something off Cruel Claw, right? Let's see, an instant speed blocker for Cruel Claw. They have 2 food tokens on board. I don't know if I'm at the point where I'm sacking these smaller creatures to get more damage in. I just don't think I am. Close, though. All right, let's see what we hit. Mascot. I guess I can play the mascot and level up this thing instead of doing the assaults, because then my mana's open and I've still played something out here. I don't actually think I want to pick up Hunter's Talent right now. Just want to go for our very lethal onboard attack and see what happens and respond accordingly. Main phase 2. Alright. It is very lethal. So it looks like whoever gets to resolve a Hunter's Talents and leave it leveled up all game gets to win. Which is to be expected with how strong the card is. Likely just running it back again. I mean, I'll take a double check if there's anything to play around. It was really just Paw Patch Formation was the instant we saw. Cast very few spells this game. Still never got to see what the black man is for. Yeah, let's get back in there for the final battle of round 2. And I like it. I don't love it. No double green for veteran, but it has both colors. It has the gecko to start things off. It's got removal and it's got protection. A little bit of everything. There's Fountain Port Bell from our opponent. And the second green for the veteran. Certainly want to kill Might Caller quickly. Do I even want to take out the trash here? Fine with it. Take out the trash, the Might Caller, then I go veteran. Hero, Gecko, and Overprotect could all be cast in one turn if we get the mana out of it. Ooh, that's a finisher. And Gecko can fix me for the black mana for that if we don't find any other fixing. I do have to hit them to do that, but it is something. Wax Wane Witness. Seen a few of those today. So I'm just on Overprotect here to kill something. I can play Gecko and Overprotect and Hero. If I Gecko post-combat. But then I don't have the black source for Viper later. But then Gecko can discard non-black lands, looking for them. I think Viper's strong enough to just not play Gecko right now. And I could even sack Hero to play Viper next turn. That might be the play. We have not seen any actual combat tricks from our opponent yet. Oh, they have double Might Caller. Jeez. But if they do attack with Herbalist, I'm going to Heartfire Hero Overprotect to try to kill it here. Because I'm not going to have the mana up to Overprotect the Viper anyway. We get a nice Valiant trigger. More likely to connect for damage this turn. Shoot. I do really need to connect for damage to play Viper. If I chump attack with Hero, I definitely ping my opponent so I can Gecko into Viper, sacking the Gecko. Plus, because of the Valiant trigger, this looks like I have tricks. Gotta hold full control for a second to make it look a little more like I have tricks. Because I accidentally didn't full control into the combat. So there's a chance I get to connect without even chump attacking with the hero. They probably block with Druid of the Spade, though. That is their safest block. Since, like, if I have a trick, it's not that bad for them. And if I don't have a trick, then I don't just get free damage without losing my creature. I'd be surprised to see Wax Wane Witness block here, but it doesn't matter. It's the same end result as if they blocked with Druid. Weird, but fine. Alright, we have not yet seen any removal in their deck that can deal with Rotten Mouth Viper, but now would be the time, if they have it, that they need it. This is going to be a paw patch formation to make that a 4-3 trample. Is there anything that makes me... They're green-white. There's nothing that makes me sack like one creature. Even off a black splash, as far as I remember. I'm pretty sure we block here. Oh, is this the board wipe? They had the board wipe? Oh, it's Curious Forger. Ooh. I was gonna say we would lose to the board wipe. Okay. So Forger for the Bell for the black source? So the black splash must be for like destroy target creature. And they're desperate at this point. Maybe they even have it in hand. Yep, there's the swamp on top. They have enough power over there to kill the Viper. Even if I assault one of these creatures. Because if I assault Mightcaller, they can still lose the life to the Viper Blight counter, and then Witness is a 3-4, and they double block that way, 3-4 and 3-2. But it can at least put them in a position where they have to lose their entire board to kill the Viper. Yeah, so I mean they have to double block with Witness Forager here. That is 6 damage because of the blight counters. But then they take 3 from Veteran, 4 from Viper, and they sack the Fountain Port Bell. So they're really low and they have nothing left except 1 card in hand. And we have a Veteran, so their 1 card in hand needs to kill the Veteran, and then we're in a top deck war where we are favored in life total. Yeah, I think this is lose 4, sack the Bell, double block the Viper, take 3 from Veteran. They're at 4 life. Play the Swamp, kill the Veteran with their removal spell in hand, and then top deck war where I'm the first person to draw and I'm at 16 and they're at 4. I think this is favorable. Really depends what the card in their hand is, but I think it is going to be like a targeted removal spell here. They choose instead to go to 1 life and then removal spell the Viper, which is fair enough, but I'm pretty happy with that. We have some incredibly live draws now. Playful Shove would be the funniest. 1 damage to them, draw a card, win the game. But Infamous Cruel Claw for Menace would be terrifyingly close to lethal. Uggs as a trampler when they're at 1 life would be very hard to survive. Heartfire Hero would be basically impossible to survive. If the Heartfire Hero dies, they take the 1. There's the GG from our opponent. I'm still gonna play it out as safely as I can and start with the Head of the Homestead for Vigilance here. See, this is why I never respond to early GGs like that. So they double block. Veteran gets to kill Witness. Never take a GG as a GG, because your opponent can be trying to trick you with things like that of like, oh, they think they just lose. So they're just going to chump attack with Veteran. Or they think I just lose, so they're just going to chump attack with Veteran here. Oh, boy. Yeah, they can kill Veteran. If I can kill Witness, they can kill Veteran. And they have to top deck well. I don't even think the preemptive GG really mattered, right? Because they had to blow up the giant serpent before I declared an attack with it. So they couldn't like trick me off of the preemptive GG. It was just a genuine GG, just a second early. It's weird to me when you say GG and then you blow up the onboard lethal kind of stuff. It's like, well, okay, so it's not GG yet. You could top deck a board wipe. You never know. All right, really close. Really close round there. I mean, that final game went pretty far in our favor, but I was still scared of board wipes and stuff they could find. But Very close event overall so far. That is best of 3 rounds each time. We did need all 3 games to win the round, but we did. So 2-0. Heading into round 3. Get to be on the play here for round 3. Patchwork banner on rabbits into head of the homestead is always pretty nuts. So I'm going to keep it, even though it starts pretty slow. And I don't have many other rabbits in the deck, which is kind of awkward. But it's worth it when you have the 3 guaranteed creatures getting +1/+1 off it. Slow our opponent down here with a slower hand. Just get that Marsh Stalker out of here for now. Oh my god. Cruel Claw it is. Savor will not kill it, but the 3 mana Nocturnal Hunger thing could do it here. God dang it. Good sealed pool from our opponent. They do not have Savor, they have the premium removal. Well, shoot. I guess I still could have bannered into head this turn and just played the Cruel Claw really late, but I wanted to try to get it out there before any creatures from our opponent. Maybe moderately greedy. Now we're flooding. This is bad, but head of the homestead is damage. Hive-Spine Wolverine, very good against tokens. Oh my god, it destroys an artifact or enchantment too? Pfft, magical Christmas land from our opponent. And now the not playing it real slow with Cruel Claw is going to play super poorly for us, because now the Wolverine just blanks everything I've done. Just actually perfect against our deck there. It's almost like I've cast nothing. And here comes a sick trick. Take 7, go to 11 if I just take it all. Got 10 power on board. You know what? Sure. Well, now we know they have Nocturnal Hunger to play around in the future. Oof. Hugs with no double red. Out of the homestead. Yeah, their deck is real good. They're just all on blocks at this point. Dying to the flyer. Oh god, yeah. The reverse Patchwork banner. Hive-Spine Wolverine is completely filthy in this matchup. It can blow up our Patchwork banner or our Hunter's Talent. This card is perfect for the matchup. It's very matchup dependent, but here, it's probably the best card in their whole deck. Painful, but I think I'm just trying to survive till I hit another red source at this point. They've got 3 mana up and they have something here. If they removal spell in response to our Overprotect, it's pretty game ending. I think we just have to let it through against the open mana and the 3 cards. This is fine. Red source, nope. Then RIP it is. Sentries, Forge, draw a card. It's another deck with really good curve outs potential. With Marsh Stalker, they've got the banner into the Rabbits play as well. Don't think we are pivoting onto another deck. The 3-drop card there. Let's just go ahead and play this so we can see more of their deck and see what trick they do have here. I think it's just another removal spell. Yeah, Savor. All right. Maybe if we hit Hug's mana, it was playable. But Cruel Claw never could have gotten in, even if we did play it really defensively. If we played it real defensively with Cruel Claw, we would have had the Cruel Claw, we would have been able to overprotect the removal spell. Maybe we would have gotten lucky and they would have waited to try to blow it up until we were attacking. Then we could overprotect, hit them, and get one card off of it. That would be Magical Christmas Land, but odds are they would overprotect, or sorry, they would remove it during their turn to try to prevent even any declarations of attacks, and then I overprotect, and then it goes to my turn, and they just have, like, you know, 3 rabbits that are giant, and it never gets in, even through the menace. So I don't think... Like, that was definitely the one play that could have went considerably different, is we just hold on to Cruel Claw and set up the banner thing. But by the time that we would have resolved the Cruel Claw with the Overprotect alongside it, they just would have had plenty of blockers anyway. And if they tried to remove it, then I would Overprotect, then I wouldn't have the Overprotect left to break through the blockers. And if they didn't try to remove it actively, then I would have attacked in with Menace, they would have blocked with a bunch of stuff, and I would have tried to Overprotect to trample over, and then I would have gotten blown out by the removal spell still, so... yeah. In the future, though, now that we know we have Nocturnal Hunger, I will be playing this out more defensively. If I have the Overprotect with it, I'll wait to have them both up together, but I don't think it would have impacted this game in particular. I think their draw was just really good against our deck. And I don't think even any of our alternate decks are any better against that Wolverine thing. I think Wolverine's just incredible against our sealed pool in general, because all of our best decks are playing green. They're playing the Hunter's Talent stuff. They're playing the Patchwork Banner for fixing. All of our best targets for Wolverine are going to be available no matter what build I go with, so I'm just going to keep with the most streamlined, most efficient build. Stick to the green-red deck. That's a forced mulligan. That is not very good. By 6 card standards, it's a decent hand, but a hurt hand out of anything available, it's not great. I could Playful Shove hoping to cycle towards black. We didn't see any 1 toughness cards from our opponent outside of Rabbit's tokens, which wouldn't happen for a long time. Let's draw the card. Just cycle here. Find the Gecko. The Gecko is the black source if a veteran hits them, so Hunter's Talent can help make sure that happens. Hunter's Talent, post-combat Gecko, would not be a Cruel Claw turn because I only have 4 mana. Patchwork Banner, well that's another way to guarantee that we can cast the Cruel Claw. But I think I'm just going to Gecko Cruel Claw here. Feels best. They do have the 3 up for Nocturnal Hunger. Maybe we can get them to use it on Veteran. They either have that or Savor here. I'm gonna get got by something. I guess if I banner on Lizards, they can't get me with Savor. That's kind of exciting. Wait, I guess they can get me with Savor because I did it in this order. This is the hoping they have Nocturnal Hunger order. Okay, I guess since they can get me with Savor either way, then I'm bannering raccoons at this point. Shoot. They do have to choose before this resolves. Okay, it is Savor over Hunger. If they have both of them, I'm going to blow a gasket, but... hopefully that means no Nocturnal Hunger. I mean, the big thing there was, yeah, Geckoing to try to draw the removal so they don't have it, or the Cruel Claw. And now they don't have it for the Cruel Claw, but it wouldn't have killed Cruel Claw regardless. Okay, cool. Want a Hunter's Talent the Sentries? Not really. But I could expend by doing that. I don't think it's worth it. They already just can't block well. Do not show me Nocturnal Hunger. I will cry. Head of the Homestead. Okay, that's not as bad, but it's definitely bad. Four power plus trample. They'd have to block Cruel Claw with literally everyone to stop Cruel Claw's ability here. But that would be trading Cruel Claw just 1-for-1 into the Head of the Homestead at this point, wouldn't it? Yeah, a little rough. Probably just working our way towards drawing cards off of Hunter's Talent then. Get rid of the higher toughness to trample for more. Yeah, if they block Cruel Claw with everybody, I kill it all, but I don't hit them. I don't get its trigger. So I'm just going to send in Veteran. Read it up a little on that one. Probably should have still played one land. I definitely want to hold one card for Cruel Claw, but probably not both. Is their own Patchwork Banner? Yikes. Patchwork Banner Head of the Homestead is just so much to break through. They've got the short bow as well. Well, let me start drawing cards off Hunter's Talent then. Oh, the Vigilance is big here. Hello, Viper. So much for leveling up Hunter's Talent this turn. That feels better than drawing a card right now. They're at a low enough life total, they're going to have to... 6... They're going to have to lose some life. They're going to have to discard a card here. Block, boom. 6 power trample. Just do 4 power trample here. 4 toughness. Yeah, make this 6 power probably, so they can't double block that well. But then they double block that easily. You don't know, I'm gonna give them the good Veteran double block, so Cruel Claw's more likely to get in. Because I've got the card to discard for it. So they can go Head of the Homestead and a 2/2 on the Veteran and kill it and only lose one of the 2 cards. So this could convince them to go the other way and Cruel Claw casts another spell. Just reestablishes the board anyway. Okay, it does not get them going the other way. Fair enough, we still rip the board apart with gigantic trampling threats. Intimidator with Offspring for the double spell here. Heartfire Hero is a card. Doesn't do a ton, but it's something. Kill the Viper and sack a bunch of stuff. We'll be very close to dead. I guess they can kill Viper and Veteran, trampled for 2 life, down to 5. Well, kill Viper and chump Veteran. Get trampled down to 5 and have no creatures left on board. They would have to sack both their artifacts here, or sack one, discard a card kind of thing. Yep. But I still have a 4-power creature to draw a card off of Hunter's Talents. I still put them to 5. And then Heartfire Hero is also a potential 3-power trampling attacker that deals 3 to them when it dies. Okay. Let's expend just in case. For the Vigilance. Really shoot for lethal here. This could be flashing in the 4-2. I actually think I trample up Veteran to play around them flashing in the 4-2. Because there is a flash creature out of black. This means it'll be better for them if they have targeted removal, but then I can lethal through that. Where I couldn't otherwise. Alright. I don't think I played that out right, but we drew incredible, so it's fine. The big thing was the Gecko turn was a pretty big stumble. And then there was like a Cruel Claw combat. Maybe we should have just kept Cruel Claw out longer. There was a turn I probably should have played a land. It was pretty sloppy, really. But luckily, the way we've played has not mattered either of these games. I think we were losing game 1 no matter what and winning game 2 no matter what. Check out the rest of their deck here. Again, our sealed pool doesn't exactly have artifact and enchantment removal at all or anything like that, so we don't really have anything super sideboardy. And I just like this green-red build that we've went with. So we're probably running it back and getting back in there. Final game, they are going to be on the play here. So a little disadvantage from the get-go. Very mediocre hands, but I don't think we can mulligan it. We get to play a Rallier, we get to fight their first threat, and we've got a great 5-drop. Turn 5, we have perfect mana for anything we draw into. I don't think we can mulligan it as much as I would like to. First draw is a land, so any lands from here is just flood. Flamecash Gecko. Not a bad draw. Gives us something to do on turn 3. And it also prevents flood if they don't kill it. I'm gonna savor a Rallier. Play a Soothsayer. Alright. So we give them a fish. Ooh, Hugs is coming up. Big boy. Give them a fish here. I believe I give them a fish here to kill a flyer. Our deck's pretty weak to flyers. How wrong would it be to discard Head of the Homestead? Because I kind of want to keep the black source here, and I know I want to Hugs. I don't think I want to Hugs turn 4. Maybe I discard the Swamp? I can't discard the Forest. I can't discard the Hugs. I kind of don't want to discard the Swamp when I might draw into a black card. But I technically don't have anything to do turn 4 right now because I don't want to Hugs without drawing any cards off them. Yeah, I guess Hugs is my better turn 5 or 6 play. Or maybe I could just curve out Hugs into Head of the Homestead, especially with Raccoon Rallier. You know what? Sure. Let's just curve out Hugs and haste them and then head to the homestead. Well, I drew into pretty much anything else, I would want to do that instead. Because they do have a lot of good one-for-one target removal, but if we can get a big card draw swing, that's going to be a huge deal. So try to set up the big card draw swing. Let's just get Heartfire Hero and start juicing that up. Next turn I can play Head of the Homestead. Yeah, we're doing perfectly impactful things without playing Hugs now. To have Hugs for later. We've not seen any discard from our opponent outside of Thornplate Intimidators. So I think we are going to play it down to the point where we only have the 2 cards in hand, and we'll just be sad if they make us discard Hugs, but we haven't seen anything in their deck that could make us discard Hugs. Turn away from Heartfire Hero getting in. Nocturnal Hunger, the Heartfire Hero. Let's go. One less card to kill a Hugs with, and they're down to 12. Wolverine, kill a rabbit. Fair. Love that they got that out of the way before we drew into our excellent artifacts and enchantments. Hugs draw 2 seems a-okay to me. At this point, yeah, nothing good to take out the trash on. Hugs draw 2. Banner Rampager next turn. Okay. Hugs gets to break through the board to get some other stuff in. I guess trades with the Wolverine and tramples for 1, but this is fine. Clear path. Ooh, double blocks, they don't get trampled? Sure. It's fine. It's a short bow for their 1 blocker. Let's go. Stack up and take out the trash into killing that. They only kill 1 of these on attacks without a saver or something. If they have a saver, it's going to be pretty good on blocks too. Nice. It's a super good block for us. I can Banner and Rampager, and then I don't take out the Marsh Stalker, but this is fine. Raccoon Bard, Lizard Warlock, Rabbits, Raccoon Warrior. Raccoon it is. I have no way to hit for lethal, but I can just put them to 1 and pass, pretty much. Still feels like a thing. And there's the concession. Pretty sloppy round there, especially game number 2, but luckily our deck was just phenomenal, and it carried us to victory. We are now 3 round victories in, every single one of them. Bit of a nail biter. Didn't get any 2-0 rounds. We had to lose a game in each round so far, but we have not lost a single round, which is an excellent place to start. Now the minimum prize out we're getting is 3,000 gems to the account. Sweet spot to be, but let's see if we can keep it rolling, heading into round number 4. Here we are for round 4, luckily on the play. We need this mascot to survive, but if it does, we have the Heartfire Hero Hunter's Talent combo, which is incredible. I guess alternatively, we could just draw a red source and then we don't have to worry about it. And that's even better. I think I still just play the mascot. I guess at this point I play the scribe, but I'm going to need the mascot on board to play Hugs later. But I'm not going to want to play Hugs turn 4 anyway. Yeah, I'll play the scribe instead. Gives my Hunter's Talent some more flexible options. Bright Blade Stoat. I will absolutely kill the heck out of that. With Hunter's Talents. Boop, boop. Great start for us. Clearing out the first strike lifelinker. Now we get to cast a mascot and level up the talent to attack with a 4-power hero this turn. Pretty gross, pretty gross. Just level this up for now. Send all, see if they've got the sonar strike or something here. Kill the hero. They don't get any life off of it because they don't have any creatures on board, so that is perfectly fine. Sure, they've got a sonar strike. I'll go ahead and put that on the notepad for the future. Still a perfectly fine turn. We are very ahead right now, and Hugs is going to take us even farther. They're ahead in cards, but our board's pretty great with Hunter's Talent. And Hugs can make up for some lost cards, and Hunter's Talent can as well later in the game. There's the Assassin. Alright, we can't really attack through the 1/3 Bonnie without leveling up Hunter's Talent. So I can level up Hunter's Talent, attack, discard a card, draw a card with the Scribe. I don't draw anything off Hunter's Talent for leveling up right now anyway. No, but this is just going to be Hugs for 1. Hugs for 1 is like a little sad, but I think we still have to just do it here. Have a 4-power creature on board if they don't deal with Hugs. To level up Talent later. I just don't think it's going to be right to... Oh my god. Oh my god. Hugs, what gifts you have brought me today. I don't think it's right to spend 4 mana into leveling up Hunter's Talent unless you're going to have a 4-power creature on board in the end step. Alright, give Flying to the Assassin and draw a card here. Probably most importantly, drawing a card here. Even if I don't top deck a land, I can sacrifice a permanent to cast Rotten Mouth Viper next turn. Head of the Homestead. Alright, lots of blockers. Can team up into killing Hugs. There's the Assault. So I do have to sack a permanent to play the Viper. I am certainly not sacking the Talent. I'm probably sacking the Mascot at this point. 1 toughness being really bad against 1/1 rabbits. And the fixing is not necessary anymore. Kill the Head of the Homestead and all the rabbits. Just get it out of the way here. Hugs has already drawn me cards, specifically a Rotten Mouth Viper. And even if the Viper dies with Brambleguard Veteran, I can set up to have 4 power creatures on board to draw cards off of with Hunter's Talent. And if the Viper doesn't die, obviously our opponent is just dying. Alright, there's the Fell for the Viper. Any more creatures? No more creatures. Infamous. Cool. Are we just going to show them all the bombs this game? Honestly, that is the correct play. Is to just play the infamous Cruel Claw here. So we do that. Try to clear the Assassin out of here first, so it's more likely Cruel Claw connects, but we play the Cruel Claw. Crumb and get it, sure. Spend the trick to kill that. Here's Cruel Claw. Two cards left in hand. We'll see if they have another piece of interaction. And they do. Parting Gust. Get rid of Cruel Claw, give us a fish. We've still got a Hunter's Talent. They've got 1 card in hand and 1 top deck here. So 2 cards in hand now. We have the Assault for the Assassin on board. We have the Veteran to try to be our 4 power creature with the talents. Ooh, Zorline reanimates something from grave just off of the Enter the Battlefield effect. Insanely good rare. Makes up for some of the bombs we've been casting here on our opponent. Yeah, that is rough. We obviously need to assault that, which means the Assassin gets to just hang out longer. But now we start doing the Veteran card draw. Our opponent is playing completely off the top now. 0 cards in hand at the start of turn. Just the top deck, and if it isn't good enough to deal with Veteran, we start attacking with Veteran and drawing cards every turn as the plan. So they're going to hold up the double block for Veteran. It does attack as a 4/4 with Banner. It attacks as a 5/5, and the double block doesn't even work. Raccoon. Get the card draw set up. Send in the 5/5. They go to 2, we draw the card. Find 3 Tree Mascot, which is a 2-mana 3/2. So that's something. Doesn't have reach or anything, it's not a Scarecrow with reach. Yep, take all this, they gain a bunch of life. They're at 5, so still dead to 1 Veteran swing. They've got the Dire Sight to dig for the chump blockers, but we've got Trample, so it's got to be actually pretty big blockers. Nice from our opponent, probably means land, land. And there's the concession from our opponent. So start things off 1-0 in that round. The luckiest hand and draws we've had all tournament long. We played every mythic. Played Hugs, Viper, and Cruel Claw on them, which is ridiculous. So what do they have to worry about? Sonar Strike as an instant. Crumb and Get It as an instant. Parting Gust as an instant. I am listing all their sorceries as well. Just trying to get a good picture of their deck list. I like them running Dire Sight. Our deck's pretty aggressive, so the shoot themselves to draw is going to be good. Going to be in our favor mostly. Feather of Flight's an instant as well. Okay. Another round, another time. I want to just hop right back into the gameplay, so let's get in there. Alright, this is not a keepable hand even on the draw, sadly. It's a 1-lander. It's so strong if it hits the lands. But it's like 50-50s on each draw step, and we need to hit them 2-3 turns in a row. This is better. Mascot into Cruel Claw is the hope and the dream. Ditch the Rallier, because we know our turn 2 and turn 3 play. Could ditch the Shove, it's been pretty bad lately. Did they have any 1 toughness cards? They had Rabbit tokens from Head of the Homestead, that was it. But Shove also cycles, lets us draw something else. Oh, I'll actually ditch the shove here. Only kills a rabbit token, potentially, from what we've seen out of their deck. And now if we draw the black source, I can rally her into Cruel Claw if we top deck Swamp next turn. Gives us an incredible couple turns. Okay, we did not. I did find Heartfire Hero. Which makes... makes Hasty Heartfire Hero next turn a pretty interesting option. And then I can haste out the Cruel Claw as a surprise later as well, instead of just playing a Summoning Sick Cruel Claw next turn off of the Mascot. I think this is fine. Play the Mascot and the Hero next turn, hasting out the Hero for a Valiant trigger. Harbinger, that is real good with Assassin. It's going to be a 2-power flyer. Each turn, just locked in. Okay. Mascot. Hero. Buff the Hero. No attacks into the Harbinger. They got a really threatening start here, but hopefully the Cruel Claw shenanigans can hit something good. In theory, I could double block Assassin and only lose one creature. Big issue there is I lose the Mascot and I don't have the black source for Cruel Claw anymore. I really hope our opponent goes through with this attack. Not because I want to trade Mascot into Assassin, but because I want to haste Cruel Claw out. Dang it. That's really bad for me. Because Cruel Claw attack's really bad. All of these creatures have 3 toughness, so Cruel Claw's a horrible attacker on this board. Well, just make a 3/3 Heartfire Hero. I don't think we're attacking here. I mean, if we attack, it's more likely we can get the Cruel Claw trigger next turn, but they can still send in with just like Intimidator and the Harbinger. Yeah. They have Fell to just destroy a creature, period. Parting Gust, exile a creature, period. I think it's fine to just trade off Heartfire Hero instead of trying to keep it around for like 10 turns, because it's just not likely to stick around with the kind of removal that they're going to have access to in black and white. Can kill it even if we make it super massive. So if they offer the trade, I'll take the trade probably. But they don't. Straws are bad. Guess I'm one turn from the attack forcing a double block here. Also got a lot of super live draws with the Heartfire Hero as big as it is. Overprotect probably the biggest. Maybe Hunter's Talent's even better than Overprotect. Probably is. But those kind of cards are really good here. The odds of them not playing another creature to double block Cruel Claw are astronomically low, so I'm not going to take the hero trade when it's one turn from 5 toughness. But we'll see. Yeah. That's low enough toughness, though. Oh. Well, shoot. I don't have enough mana to do both of these. But that is low enough toughness for Cruel Claw to sneak by. See if Arena holds for them. Okay, they've got an instant. So, Sonar Strike, it could be, because they can target their own tapped creature. If they have Sonar Strike, Cruel Claw dies at some point, no matter what. If they have Parting Gust, Cruel Claw dies at some point, no matter what. If they have Crumb and Get It. If they have Crumb and Get It, this attack is rough. But I can get all the other damage in just from Heartfire Hero. I could Assault to try to clear the Crumb and get it out of their hand, but then I don't have anything to discard to Cruel Claw's ability regardless. Literally every instant we've seen would deal with Cruel Claw here. Feather of Flight, Parting Gust, Crumb and Get It, and Sonar Strike. So I guess I'm just on Hero? Could be wrong. No, they just Gust Hero. It is too big to Sonar Strike. It is the Gust. Okay, so they would have just Gusted Cruel Claw if we tried to get the value there. 11 life. Probably have to Assault somebody. Like to kill the 4/3. It's the highest amount of damage they can threaten, and these I'm threatening to block with Cruel Claw if they don't have another play here. Yeah, I'm at 11. I'm just stopping damage. Get the Intimidator out of here. And then by the time Cruel Claw attacks, we'll have drawn a different card to discard. Alright, they have the Fell anyway. Soothsayer, they can start surveilling off all the assassin attacks, and Mascot's a terrible blocker here. Yep. We're at 5. They also get 2 buffs now, Harbinger plus Soothsayer together. And we flooding a little. So we're dead, right? Yeah, we're just dead in the sky. Alright, game 3 it is. Hand ended up being pretty weak. The one good thing we had going for us was Cruel Claw, and they just set up the good blockers for it. And we didn't really hit anything else to do. Yeah, I don't think that hand made the matchup look terrible or anything about the deck look terrible. I think it was just kind of a weaker draw. There were a lot of things we could have hit that would have made things a lot more favorable towards us. Obviously, the big creatures would have been huge, but the Brawl, Hunter's Talent, Take Out the Trash, any of those at the right time would have gotten the Cruel Claw haste attack going, and just like one Cruel Claw haste attack would have flipped that around. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Mascots because they're so bad against 1/3s, but we really need the fixing in here to actually cast Cruel Claw early, and Hugs as well, needing double red, double green specifically. Just gonna hop back in there. Game number 3 of round 4. We are on the play for this one, and this hand is so bad. Forced Mulligan, and this is a one-lander. Oh, Arena has probably decided our fate here, but we'll see. I kind of think I get rid of Mascot, because it's really bad against their 1/3s, and we have all 3 colors here, which means we have a useless Hunter's Talent. Alright. I do not think we had any choice but the mulligan down to 5 with those draws. And that might mean this round is just over. Yeah, I think our round 2 keep was reasonable, and I don't think there's anything we could have done to flip that game around. Sorry, I think our game 2 keep was reasonable, and there wasn't anything we could do to flip that game around. And then game 3, I think both these mulligans were just forced. Maybe you could justify that opening hand, but we've lost other rounds keeping a hand like that where it's just like, here's 0 creatures and like a removal spell. It's like, well, and awkward mana. I love Arena sometimes. I probably have to ditch the Viper in a land. For Viper to be good, I have to just hit land here. I mean, this is just death. If you mold a 5 and your opponent has Mind Rot, like, okay. Man. Well, I'm officially tilted. It's really easy to lose to Sonar Strike with Overprotect being played here, but we beat Crumb and get it, and we beat Feather Flight. Parting Gust could win. So 2 of the instants we've seen would kill Heartfire Hero and Overprotect would do nothing. 2 of them we'd win. I kind of just need to... I need them to have, like, nothing to have any chance of turning the game around anyway, so we just go for it. Perfect. Genuinely perfect. Not perfect. Not bad, but not perfect, because I'm pretty sure we're supposed to Hunter's Talent Thistledown players in attack. I don't think I can drop Cruel Claw against a deck with as much removal as they have right now. Trampling Cruel Claw later will still be really good, and this Hearthfire Hero is big enough to force the removal onto that, and then we can drop Cruel Claw. I guess there kind of was no perfect draw that turn, right? Since I was going to be kind of locked in on Hunter's Talent. Perfect draw would have been land that turn to level up the Hunter's Talent, and then Cruel Claw the turn after. All this open mana. If I level up Hunter's Talent, and then I attack, they probably just kill Heartfire Hero, but I can't cast Cruel Claw until they kill Heartfire Hero anyway. So I can just attack and hope they spend removal on it? But then it's not tramplings, they could just like make the fish and block. I can't just play Cruel Claw yet. Send the trample attack. This forces them to use removal. Because otherwise, even if they had removal, they could just like make a fish block and be fine. Okay, create a treasure it is. Uh-oh. That's a lot of mana if they're making a treasure. Sack the treasure, draw a card? Is it just digging for the removal? Even if they remove Heartfire here, they do take 4 from it now. What is their hand? Is their hand as bad as mine? I mean, I mulled to 5 and got Mind Rotted, so it's highly unlikely that their hand is somehow as bad. Nice for my opponent. Play an Assassin. Okay. Heartfire Hero, Hunter's Talent, and a Dream. Just play the Cruel Claw instead of drawing 1 card here. It's probably better to get Cruel Claw onto the board when they're super, super low. Opponent seems maybe almost as tilted as me. It's a lot of nices. We're the pinball champions today. We are cheating the system. We're banging the machines around. As long as we don't tilt to the point where they shut off. I think Heartfire here only triggers when it dies, so if they find Parting Gust specifically, then they can survive with the Heartfire hero, which is sad for me. Concede! It's not even lethal yet. Oh my god. Okay. Mull 5, get Mind Rotted turn 3, assemble Heartfire Hero Hunter's Talent against one of the most removal heavy decks we've played against, and they somehow find 0 removal. That was an insanely unlucky game for both players. We were over there slapping each other with our noodle arms, and I guess my noodly appendage is a little better than our opponents. 2-1 off of an absolute Nerf gun fight in the end, where we both drew super awkward. All right. I mean, we drew really well. The awkward part was the Mull 5 into Mind Rot was really bad for us. We did draw into the Heartfire Hero Talent combo. I think that was not in the opener. Yeah, we drew into the Heartfire Hero. Talent was in the opener. Super happy with our choices of the discards on the Mind Rot, but obviously going to work perfectly for us. Drawing into the Cruel Claw was pretty big too, but honestly, I don't know how much that impacted the game based on the 50 nices from our opponent. They might have just died to Heartfire Hero Hunter's Talent. So, all right. Oh, I cannot believe that game was winnable. Once again, and that's not the only game today. That's probably the second or third today that I was confident was going to lose no matter what. And we turn it around, and our opponent just draws absolute poop, I guess. And we're 4-0 in the rounds. Now we are at 5,000 gems as the prize out, heading into round number 5. Right, here we are for round 5 of the Qualifier Weekend. On the play, we have Rallier to take out the trash. I need to hit 2 green sources to get to Hugs, which is super unlikely, but just 1 gets us to Brawl, and Hugs is the kind of card we don't want to play until we have mana to dump into X anyway. So even if I'm not casting this till I have like 7 lands total, that's fine. As long as I survive that long and take out the trash, and Longstock Brawl help me do that. Here's a Flame Cash Gecko for a mana discount next turn, potentially. And the Gecko can also start ditching some green spells looking for actual forests. We are going to have to take out the trash here, aren't we? There's a mascot for 1 green source. I suppose I can Brawl instead. They don't draw a card if I give them a gift, do I? Or do they? They don't. So if I give them the gift of the fish, I can just have a 3/3 Rallier. And then I get to play a creature this turn alongside my removal instead of just playing removal. That feels worth it. So you can have a fish. Although the fish is really good against the mascot, which is rough. Okay, Sticky Tongue Sentinel. That's interesting. That might do something at some point. Go, Rallier, go! So... Gecko... But I don't have anything to discard to draw a card. It's just going to be a 2/2 and get my mana back. Maybe it's better to just play a 3/3 then. Don't pick anything up. Yeah, just play a 3/3. Another black-white deck. So far we've seen Jolly Gerbils, that's it. I'll write it down. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to discard Brambleguard Veteran to Flame Cash Gecko if we can connect again. Feels likely one of these hits our opponent. Kill one, let the other through. Yeah, do a crumb and get it or something here. Just a chump, go to 11? Sure. Weird hand from our opponent so far. Land. Any land is good here, but green sources would be preferable. Perfect. Land for turn has been acquired. Maybe we're just hasting hugs. I mean, if it's going to be close to lethal, then we do it. Oh, it's the 5-drop board wipe? That's rough. We don't have a response to that, right? No, we don't. That's gross. Starfall Invocation in all caps. Board wipe's the kind of card they're going to auto-win you one game, and then just change the way the rest of the round goes. Where now for the rest of this event, we have to play around that board wipe. Or the rest of this round, we have to play around that board wipe. Super frustrating kind of card. A single Marsh Stalker. Well, if you draw the perfect draw, you draw the perfect draw. We're under 0 pressure right now, so got all the time in the world to top deck lands. I am now under considerable pressure. I spoke words and then a 6/6 menace hit the board. So, you know how it is. Fantastic card for late game like this. Bring back 2 creatures from grave, drain us for some life. Yep. Where are the lands, though? There's one. $13 from our opponent. God, this Huskburster's just gonna kill me. Really is, but theoretically, I have enough creatures on board now to trade into their entire board. There's a draw 2 from our opponent that also drains us for life every turn. Another great board stall kind of card. Let's get some information on what kind of tricks they have here, if nothing else. Alright, we killed the 6/6. They draw 2 off the monolith. The Strike Force, double striking flyer. Gathering some info here. There's really no decisions to be made, it's just hugs where X equals 2. Land. Well, at least I get to play Heartfire Hero, I guess. But not what we wanted to see. We need to deal with this flyer pretty quick. Did dig the lands out of the way. Oh, Wix Patrol for 8. Excellent. Now they have Threshold for the Marsh Stalker. So they just get to attack with Wix Patrol and bring it back anyway. But I can't really take 4. Just dead. I guess I could kill Marsh Stalker again and take 1 more point of damage to force him to spend a few mana again next turn. It's all mana. Well, brutal game. That's just one of those free victories you can get off of having a board wipe in your deck. Starfall Invocation, the MVP, the card we really need to play around here. I've got a picture of the blue-black and the green-black deck. And honestly, don't know how much better they are against this. Yeah, I still think this is a really good deck that can curve out and kill them before they get to the big spooky stuff. And those decks aren't even that much more resilient to a board wipe, really. Like, unless we have our Bomb Rare Vren out. And it's like, well, if we hit a Bomb Rare, like if we hit a Cruel Claw or a Hugs at the right time, we could still try to outgrind them with this. We don't have like counter spells in our blue. If we go for the blue build, we've got one Dazzling Denial to try to stop the board wipe, which we'd have to have at the right time. Honestly, the more I play, the more I think that green-red is just the best deck in our sealed pool against most anything here. And even with the Invocation, I think we just have enough information about what their deck is doing to play around stuff like that a little more this time. Just get back in there. Patchwork Banner gives us the Cruel Claw mana. It's a slower hand, but they are a slower deck, so it's fine. They could curve out fast. They have the 2 mana 3/1 Marsh Stalker, so if they have that into like a good 3-drop rat or something, things could be spooky. Mascot? Mascot into Gecko Cruel Claw next turn would be pretty gross. It's obviously the only option for what to play this turn anyway. Okay, this turn's gonna be wild. Yes, I am playing into a board wipe right now, but it's a turn 5 board wipe, and they're facing 3 creatures already. 2 of them are about to get buffed. We've got a Tree Guard duo coming up as well. If they have the board wipe in hand, I think we genuinely are just outracing the board wipe this game. I don't think we're playing around it here. Ooh, I could hold up Overprotect to play around like a Sonar Strike here and guarantee Cruel Claw gets the hit. I hit for 2 less damage to do that. I think it's worth it. Okay, well, they don't have anything here. Oof. Oh, maybe they do. They do! That's right, Sonar Strike won't hold until there is a tapped creature or an attacking or blocking creature. They're at 8. It's like GG, right? Oh, Hugs? Hugs for X equals 0 is pretty fun, right? Starfall that. I dare you. Uh-oh. Hop to it means maybe they can. Maybe they can. Oh, I didn't hit the mana for Tree Guard Duo too? Send in everybody and then Rottenmouth Viper ETB? Or just... No, I'm probably just Patchwork Bannering, so I'm not putting anything else on this board. I can buff 2 of these creatures. What 2 creatures do I buff? Probably Cruel Claw. And the Mascot? I guess no, it's probably Trample, right? Let's go Warrior. There's some other Warriors in the deck, maybe. But there's no other Badgers. That's 8 damage. That is onboard lethal. If they don't have Crumb and Get It here too. They have Crumb and Get It here too. So they're not quite dead, but they need to go land Starfall. I'm going to decline to play around the board wipe. If I sack my whole board to play Viper, they can just discard a card and then spend a targeted removal on Viper and win. So that'd be bad. All right, well, that was our last opportunity to be on the play. We're going to be on the draw for game 3, so it's going to be harder to do something like that against Starfall Invocation, but that kind of hand is what I'm talking about, where this still feels best because we can just do that, and it doesn't matter if they have Starfall in the opening hand, they just die anyway. They were stuck off a color too, which is rough, but that hand was ridiculous. Okay. You know what? Since I'm on the draw, I've got one more draw step towards hitting lands. I'm going to cut a land for a Peerless Recycling here. And that'll be like a little bit of board wipe prevention. Hope get us back into the game later. Picking up like a Hugs would be the biggest thing we could maybe do. But I think we ditch a bonus black source here. Go 16 lands on the draw. Okay, here we are for the final game of this round. They have taken a mulligan here. They are on the play. We're on the draw. We've got the Heartfire heroes with nothing to trigger them, but we have good mana. We can cast everything but Assault in the hand, and the mascot lets us cast anything in the deck. Granted, we draw the lands for them later. It's Rampager to top off this curve. Let's get the hero down and get going. Nettle Guard. The Playful Shove thing is really good here, but honestly, Heartfire hero for Nettle Guard is not bad either. Just attack in, play another Heartfire hero. They're basically always the aggro in this matchup. I'll let them get counterattacks in here. I kind of want to be mana efficient though with this mascot, which is awkward. They could blow it up with Nettle Guard, but with the cards we have in hand, that's a fine trade. Is this no land 3? Mono white 2-landers the keep. Oh my god, we would top deck into the Cruel Claw after accepting that trade. Yeah. Obviously, if we top decked the gigantic snake thing, it wouldn't matter, but this was the only card in the whole deck where losing mascot would be a bummer. Okay, Collector for the ramp here. Oh, they're on red-white. Interesting. Was this a pivot? Very interesting. I mean, I think I just kill that because the first strike, which means no Rampager this turn, but I want to be able to shut off their mana ramp on their low mana hand. I can have a Crumb and get it, give me a food here. If they really need this mana. Give me a food it is. Sure. I guess I could have assaulted instead of take out the trashed. Either would have been countered by the Crumb and get it, but then would be a little more mana efficient technically. Okay, so they are going for a 4 mana play. Raccoon Rallier. Yeah, they're just straight going Boros aggro, it looks like. They probably still have the Starfall, so I'm a little worried about that, but... Okay, there's our own Raccoon Rallier. Well, the Heartfire heroes keep the Nettle Guard off of us. Can assault the Collector. Or I could just play a 4/4 to block it, but if they have another trick, then the 4/4 blocker doesn't work anyway. I could play my own Rallier to set up the Heartfire hero combos. But I'm not impacting the board too much at all this turn doing that. And Collector keeps going. Collector's good enough. We have to assault or Rampager to try to stop that. I'm just going to assault it. That's another fantastic card. They spend 4 mana, they get to discard their hand, draw 2. And they are very low on cards here, so it's a huge card draw engine. Multiple kind of must-kill threats. There's a black source. Need the 4/4 blocker bad now. Rallier would set up a hasty Cruel Claw. But I'm taking significant counterattacks here. Yep, and that has just shut off the attacks entirely. If they had removal, they would have killed this and attacked 100%. So we just play the Cruel Claw here. 100%. Well, that would be the one way that they could have removal and not attack in there. Is that it only kills Cruel Claw. In which case it doesn't really matter. Even if I hasted the Cruel Claw, it would have gotten killed later. Because there was nothing else for them to really target. I guess they might have killed the Rallier to stop us from hero shenanigans. But they probably would have waited long enough. They've already used the one Crumb and Get It we've seen. They could have multiples here. They could have Sonar Strike, take out the trash style stuff. Okay, they just don't even attack, so I don't have to think about it. Well, obviously I have to target a Heartfire hero here, but sadly we're flooding. Our opponent may have been stuck on mana in the early game, but that is absolutely an advantage by now, because now it just means they have access to a lot more plays than we do. Yep, Pileated Provisioner, which triggers Barter, which lets them discard 1 to draw 2, which is huge value. They did have the double Crumb and Get It. But now they have a fresh hand, and we're just going to get got by Barter here. I've got a Hunter's Talent in this deck. I think I'd take the Rampager for Nettleguard trade. Get this man out of the way. I don't think I have another way to use food in my deck. I could sack it for a Rotten Mouth Viper, but I have more than enough to just cast it anyway. Yeah, there's no foraging or anything. Let's just spend this mana. Ooh, baby. Just what the doctor ordered. 2 2/2s to block a 3/3. It's probably better than a 3/3 and a 1/1. Eh. I guess 3/3 and a 1/1 holds 2 2s off of us. And if they have one removal spell, they crumple the 2 2/2s and get in with Barter anyway. Do they have the double spell here again? Off Barter plus the top deck? Would be filthy. They do not. So no other draw there. There's the shove now that I've killed the one toughness card from our opponent. Buff a hero, draw a card then. Find a Hugs. Do I have to X equals 2 it just to get it on the board immediately? Or can I wait till next turn so I can X equals 4? I kind of think 9 life taking 3 in the sky every turn, and they have a menace threat. I kind of feel like I have to do it just instantly. Patchwork Banner Veteran, no flyers. Or removal. Hugs was a big enough draw that if our opponent doesn't draw well, all we really need to do is find a way to kill one flyer. And we will get ahead with the Rally or Heartfire Hero combo. Eventually. But we don't have a lot of time to do it. Halfway through the deck, we've already spent the Takeout and the Assault. But that means we still have the Longstalk Brawl, the Hunter's Talents. Those are the big ones. Sticky Tongue Sentinel would be a block. There's their own Heartfire Hero with their own Rallier. So we're down to 6. Buff the hero. Is there cycling? So, big issue here is that if we kill the Heartfire hero, we take 2 and go to 4, then take 3 from Provisioner. If they hit us with anything. I can get 2 swings. Stress incarnate. Mouse, right? Soldier warrior, that's a warrior. I think it's mouse though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 blockers on the ground. I can't even attack with non-vigilant creatures. I send in Rallier and pray to sneak lethal in next turn. I guess I need 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers, right? Because they'd have to have the hero die to kill me. Which I guess I can't block the hero without killing it, so yeah, no, I need all the blockers up. Yeah. None of these are reach. None of these are going to get in anyway. Okay. Oh, yeah, now I have to block the Heartfire hero and not kill it, which I can't do because I chose raccoons. God dang it. Oh no, yeah, I have to kill the mouse, so they buff the mouse. I have no blocks that don't kill it. No, I needed to pick like warriors or something here, and then even then, like the 2-hit lethal is not going to be a thing. I don't have the mana to pick something up. Oh no, I can jump with Raccoon Rallier. Never mind. That was a temporary buff. I'm fine. I'm fine. I still have that potential next turn lethal. Five, 6, 7, 8. Oh, they had the board wipe too. Well, I guess this game was unwinnable. Jesus. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I definitely didn't play perfectly, but I don't think we could have won game 1 or game 3 at all. Starfall Invocation was just way too good in those two completely different circumstances, really. Yeah. There were a lot of different lines and sequences that could have been done throughout the game, but they all lose to Starfall Invocation either because they buffed their hero up too much or because we're overcommitted and they have more cards in hand still. Is what it is. Some divine justice, all of our blowouts from Mythic bombing everybody, and we lose an entire round to Starfall Invocation. Here we are for round 6 now. We're 4-1. We're going to be on the draw 2 out of these 3 games if it goes to 3 games, which is rough, but it is a coin flip. It's 50-50, and we've been on the play a lot of rounds. It's a very nice opening hand. Scribe into Veteran if we draw the perfect lands, or I can just Mascot into Veteran guaranteed. So I think we have to Haven on red here either way. So if the Mascot crumples, we still have a red source. I guess I just ditched the 2-drop then, because I'm going to go Mascot Veteran. And I would top deck the Forest to make the 2-mana 2/2 into Veteran the better play. But we didn't know we were going to draw the right mana. Now Arena's just making fun of me. Another black-white deck. That's 3 rounds in a row. Technically, last round our opponent ended on red-white instead of white-black, but they were white-black at the start there. Vine Lash, another card that's great against Mascot. Mascot is kind of the devil we had to make a deal with to get our mana fixed here, with double green cards and double red, double greens, and splashing black, and it's better than the Bell in this deck because we need to play to the board, but it gets blanked by a lot of stuff. It's a Cruel Claw. Cruel Claw is not particularly good against this Vine Lasher. It's not particularly good on this board in general, but we'll see if Veteran can clear out a little bit of it. Nope. Cruel Claw is also not particularly bad here. But if we get 2 Veterans on board and I draw anything to cast alongside Cruel Claw, we'll get +2/+2 Vigilance. It feels more likely for double Veteran to be impactful than Cruel Claw. Because that's also going to double buff the Mascot and actually get that attacking. I just don't think Cruel Claw is going to connect, but they didn't play any creatures, so maybe Cruel Claw would have connected here. Okay, how bad do I want to expend 4? Because I could sacrifice the Mascot to do it. Instead of playing Cruel Claw this turn, it's sack Mascot to play the Viper a turn early. Against a black-white deck with 4 open mana to just use single target removal on Viper, it's probably not quite worth it. Let's just send in the Veterans and play the Cruel Claw. We can expend next turn. Here's Cruel Claw. That'll draw the removal from them if they have it, so that the Viper is home free. Is this another Starfall Invocation deck? We're attacking so much just significantly stronger that just have to play into it. And we'll find out next turn. If it's another Invocation deck, we lose. If not, we probably win. It could be a Season of Lost deck. That's the Mythic board wipe in black. Obviously less likely because it's mythic rare, but possible. I guess even if they are on either of those board wipes, they're both 5 mana and they didn't play a land last turn, so kind of have to just put the pressure on them and make them hit that land drop immediately. Okay, the Nocturnal Hunger on Cruel Claw. Certainly making me think they might have had that for a little while and have just been holding on to it because they want a board wipe instead. We'll see. No land 5. They could be another board wipe deck and just didn't hit the mana. I guess we won't know. They only cast 3 spells all game. I do want to keep Ruthless Negotiation in mind. Make sure that we always keep an extra land in our hand so that this does not rip something important out of our hand if they top deck it at the right time. If there's no cost to holding an extra land, then we should do it. But if it's like, well, holding this land is me playing a 3-drop instead of a 4-drop, then you don't do it. But when it's free to hold extra lands, we will. They've got Nocturnal Hunger as the instance to worry about. Not that there's much I can do about it. But if they have the mana open for it, we can make sure not to make like double blocks that are particularly weak against it. And then they've got the Iridescent Vine Lasher, which I'm just putting so I can know their deck list a little better. They cast 3 spells all game. Not a lot of information to go on. We're just going to hop back in there. Okay, opponent on the play here. We've got Heartfire Hero, we've got the Veteran. I need another green source for it, but we have Assault for anything. Rampager pretty much no matter what as well. It's a keep. Starscape Cleric, we are racing. And Gecko helps that a lot. I'm going to ditch the second red source, I think. The only thing that a second red matters for is Hugs. There's one card in the whole deck we need second red for, and I need double green immediately. So let's dig to that, right? This way. Green source, green source. No. Not yet, but we're a card closer to it. Down to 18, and the play is Fell. Goodbye, Gecko. Hunter's Talent. I don't feel a huge need to kill the Starscape Cleric immediately. However, the only other play right now is just a 2/2 anyway. I'll just buff the hero. And this gives me a lot more options on future turns. Say I top deck any land, green source or not, I can play Scribe and level up Talent. Ooh, I can play Hero and level up Talent. If I don't draw land. But yeah, just the options that the Hunter's Talent opens up makes it a real good play here. Okay, even if they board wipe, we shoot them for 5 and have plenty to reestablish a board here. Or shoot them for 4, not 5. Starseer Mentor, not a board wipe, but a good 5-drop. Attack with a 5-power Heartfire Hero. Do that. Now they're getting close to just dying to casting the board wipe. They're close to us just sacking all our mice to the Rottenmouth Viper to kill them as well. Well, there's the life gain, the Life Creed Duo. Which triggers that. So they're at 9. And that is Vigilance too, which is big. Lose 3, sack a permanent, discard a card. 15, but they have like all flyers, so the life total is pretty threatening. I'm gonna discard the double green. Just doesn't feel like it's gonna get there super likely. Okay. How do we kill them? They're at 9. Hunter's Talent, Trample. 4, 5, 6 power with Trample. It's for like a bunch. Do a Viper Sack if it's still around. If it's not, I clear out a lot of their board. Trample over. 5 toughness. Blocks there. They have to block with the Mentor. Bring back the Cleric. Is there any point to assault here? I could assault the Savior, exile it. Save the Viper for later. Yeah, I don't need to kill them immediately here. Let's go for the play that's more likely to kill them in the long run. Just guarantee they don't get anything back with Savior. Actually, they only get non-flyers back with Savior, don't they? Well, never mind. I'm a doofus. This still is very strong and very safe. Definitely leads into a kill next turn. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. They just had some rough draws, and we hit some good stuff. So that is 2-0. That's our first round. We did not get a single loss in. And we are now 5-1. 5 wins into the event means we are at 7,500 gems for the rewards. It's all gravy from here. Round 7, here we are. We have a double green card with no green source. But I can play Scribe, and I can play Take Out the Trash, and any green source gets us turn 4 Tree Guard Duo. So 2 castable spells, 1 proactive, 1 reactive. The double green card is practically a mulligan already, though, because we have to hit 2 green sources in a row to do anything with it, so it's almost like we kept a mull to 6 already. And the risk, if we don't hit a green source, the hand is real bad. Nothing super exciting going on here. None of the bombs, no Hunter's Talent or anything. I think I can take the mulligan because it's almost like we've already have. Okay, well, this hand's pretty comparable. It might even be slightly worse. It's not like way worse, but certainly not better. Opponent starts with turn 1 Bone Cache Overseer, which can be a ridiculous card draw engine if they can exile cards from grave, or sacrifice food tokens. That's the much easier thing to do. But any squirrels that forage, let them exile 3 from grave. Beautiful draws so far. Land when we're already flooded in the opener. Come on down, Gecko. Please don't have a saver. They do not have a saver. Ooh, they kept Swamp. Well, we've top decked exclusively lands in the 5 land opener. I did mulligan 1 land away. Start geckoing around, or do I assault the Overseer? I probably have to start geckoing towards a play. Overseer doesn't do anything till they can forage anyway. And they can't forage without food tokens because they don't have any cards in grave yet. Yikes. Set up another mountain so I can double gecko. Really need that insurance policy. Hunter's Talent? I'm not in love with it, but honestly feels better than just double discard and draw here. Just get this set up for later. Swamp. There's Daggerfang Duo. I can assault that to keep the Gecko Hennigan, and we can discard a card, draw a card again. Although the top deck is Head of the Homestead, so now we're just going to play that and pass. Because we hit a good 5-drop. There's Cutthroat just as a 3-2. Raccoon Rallier's the draw. If I want a 4-power creature, I have to attack with Head of the Homestead and have it not trade off, but it is just going to trade off, so don't feel like leveling up Hunter's Talent's going to do anything here. However, it's probably better than discarding another card. So, level it up. No card draw for the turn, because Head's just going to trade off. Let's just start poking for 2 every turn then, because those blocks are pretty horrible for our opponent. They're green-black. It's Hunter's Talent. And Forest as a mill. They did top deck the Forest, so now it is a full grip of live spells. Looks like instant speed removal. Discard a card, draw a card off of Rallying Up the Scribe, so that I have all my mana open for whatever I draw into. Sticky Tongue Sentinel? Pretty gross with Hunter's Talent. This is probably just flunge it at this point now. Downwind Ambusher. That card is phenomenal. One of the best uncommons in the whole format. It is only 2 toughness, so their blocks here are still going to be mostly just trades. They're going to keep the Ambusher on board instead of trading off into the Head of the Homestead? Sure. Okay. I think I'm holding on to Sentinel to play it next turn. Which means I need the mana to play this and Hunter's Talent. So I actually just assault the Ambusher if they want to keep it that bad. Yeah, keep the pressure on, keep the path clear for future swings. 3-2 and a food. They find the saver. Fell on Head of the Homestead. Okay. Brambleguard Veteran. So Hunter's Talent is not going to be level 3 to draw me any cards here if I pick it up with Sentinel. So I could either play Veteran and Sentinel so that Veteran is expended, I attack for 5 trample, draw a card, or I can pick up the Hunter's Talent to kill the Mentor. I can actually draw the card without playing Sentinel. Yeah, no, that's better. I just have to haste out the Veteran. And I'm just going to hold on to the Sentinel still. And draw a card and trample here. A little less pressure, but another card is big. Cruel Claw, let's go. Now Veteran just having expended 4 is enough to have a 4-power creature on board. So I can Hunter's Talent +1/+0 anywhere else. Probably on Cruel Claw. Yep. Take out the trash as an instant speed expend 4 for Veteran. If that matters. I don't think I just blow it on the Mentor right now when they could have another of the Skunk Ambusher thing to kill. So I can set up a position where they can't double block Cruel Claw here. If it's just targeted removal in hand for Cruel Claw, this is a bummer. I guess they do have to do that to not die on board. Okay. Looks like we get the trigger. I could spend 2 on the offspring, but then I don't have to take out the trash. Up. Probably still worth it. And then since I don't have that up, I'll keep the Sticky Tongue Sentinel thing. Okay, sure, Ambusher the Veteran is fine. Here's 2 more creatures, and they're hard to block, and they're all raccoons. And I draw a card. And there's Hugs. This is insane. This sealed pool is actually very, very good. Okay. Hunter's Talent is a huge one. Get rid of the Cruel Claw. 4 mana up, play a Bark Knuckle Boxer. In theory, Sentinel Hunter's Talent is the kill. I have to top deck a land, though. Alright. I mean, Hasty Hugs is also probably the kill, right? Because Trample. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, and then 1, 2 to play, 2 to level up. Yeah, no, let's just go for lethal that doesn't show them another mythic. Not that they can really play around another mythic. Well, no, they've got food tokens, so it's not lethal anyway. But it's close. Okay, attacking for 3 is better than attacking for 2. Okay, they concede anyway. Is it lethal? Am I wrong here? Maybe. Block, no trample. Trample that. 5, 6. 6. Oh yeah, they're at 5. It is lethal. Okay, I mean, they've got a really good deck, but they had really awkward mana there. That was a lucky game for us just because they got really unlucky. We've seen 0 instance from them. Downwind Ambusher, the 1 instant speed trick. And that should be relatively easy to know when it's coming, even though it's so flexible it's hard to play around. But 4 open mana is so much to hold up at instant speed, we should be able to know when that thing's coming at least. Okay, I've gathered all the information I can, and I'm very happy with the core build of the deck. Best of 1 players unite. Sideboarding is for chumps. Let's get back in there. Gecko can get the Cruel Claw cast if we can connect with Scribe, and Hunter's Talent can help make sure we can do that, as does Take Out the Trash. This is a wonderful hand. Any land draw is good, and that is a land draw right there. Best land draw is a swamp, then I don't have to worry about doing Gecko nonsense. We are on the draw here against that scary menacing threat. I think we just take out the trash immediately. Cutthroat. Ooh. Since even if I don't hit a red source, I have a great turn now. But especially if I hit a red source. We didn't, so we'll just hero Hunter's Talent. Still a beautiful turn, and now we have the Hunter's Talent Heartfire Hero combo set up. So if nothing else, I can level up Hunter's Talent and play a 2-drop next turn. But we're probably playing Cruel Claw. A little less mana efficient, but a little scarier. I don't know, I do hit a lot less. Because I hit for 4 by leveling up Talent here. Yeah, I just can't resist Heartfire Hero Hunter's Talent combo. It's absolutely ridiculous. Get that snowball rolling as quickly as possible. Blue splash from our opponent. We did not see that game 1. Could be that rat rare that like spits out a rat token when any of our creatures dies. That thing would be hard to break through. Treetop Sentries. They can sack the Heaped Harvest to draw a card. Pretty good. Hero still gets an attack in here, which is great. Guarantees the Gecko connects and gets Cruel Claw cast. And the Homestead. We're definitely on Gecko Cruel Claw over that. Boom. Gecko. Cruel Claw. I'm going to hold this land for Gecko and Cruel Claw. There's Vren the Restless, yeah. Vren the Relentless that spits out all the rats whenever any of our creatures dies. And the rats are really ridiculously big. A 2/2 just by having Vren on board, even bigger once they get more rats. They clear out the Heartfire Hero, which exiles too, so they don't take any damage from it. Wow. Yeah, no, Vren just wins. Pretty badly here. This is so stable with all that, and any more removal is going to put them even farther ahead. The Rottenmouth Viper draw is awkward because we don't have the black source yet. It'll theoretically be real good in the future, but we don't know how long that future is going to take to get to. Yeah, 5 toughness, we just can't do anything. Yeah, no, Vren might get the reverse bomb revenge on us. We'll see. I think we play out of the Homestead here. Ooh, Hunter's Talent Vren to exile the Cruel Claw, get more rats. Alright. Divine Justice, we're outbombed. Another rat. Even exiling tokens counts, which feels like it shouldn't, because they just cease to exist. They don't actually go to the graveyard, they don't actually go to exile. But it still counts. That's 2 more rats, and now all the rat tokens are 5/5s? No, 4/4s. I don't have a 4-power creature on board. Ditch a card, draw a card. Find the banner. That casts the Viper. But it may be too late. Guess I have 2 rabbits. I guess if we had the talent leveled up now, the rabbit would draw a card. But I never had full 4 mana after the other plays I made. Yep. God, Vren's insane. Jesus. So we just need them to not draw Vren. I don't think we even need to hit like our super bombs or anything. I think we have a solid matchup. Generally just against not Vren. But we're so dead here. Show me the trick too. This is exiling 2 of my creatures. Yeah, every trade is just so miserable. Because now 2 more rats and all the rats are even bigger. Okay, Vren just literally unbeatable. I don't know why I'm even still here at this point. Okay. So I could put in more sideboard materials to deal with Vren, because that is actually genuinely, I think, the biggest bomb we have seen. The board wipe might be worse because we can't do anything about the board wipe. At least Vren we could theoretically kill at some point. Yeah, make it splash in a black removal spell here. Oh no, I can't even do that. The only black removal I have is Savor, which isn't big enough. Consumed by Greed is, if Vren is the largest power creature they control, which the rat tokens that Vren makes will probably be, plus I have to hit double black, and double black is not splashable. I can't splash in a fourth color into this deck to throw a Banishing Light in here for Vren. I just can't do anything about it. I just have to accept that fate. If it happens again, we're just on fingers crossed, no Vren. No Vren, or if there is Vren, that we have the Agate Assault, the Hunter's Talons. The Longstock Brawl could work. Alright, let's get back in there on the play. Maybe we can even just outrace the Vren if he shows up. Mono red hand on the play, but we have the mascot and the gecko, and it's real aggressive. I'm gonna keep. I guess the gecko doesn't really count as fixing here because I'm just gonna play the mascot off of it, but there's the green. Let's go. Full speed ahead. Playful Shove Heartfire Hero attack 6 this turn. Unless they do that, then I'm going to exile that, I think, so everyone gets in. We lose nobody. Uh-oh, blue source. Was this 7-card keep all 3 colors of Ren in the opener? There's the Hunter's Talent if Vren shows up. But we're not quite big enough yet. Patchwork Banner can get us there. Patchwork Banner plus Talent makes our Heartfire Hero 4 power. But I need the extra 2 mana for the ward. No, please God, no. They need not only Vren, but they also need follow-up removal here. They need just Magical Christmas Land from the opening hand, which they're halfway there. They had all 3 colors, Vren in the opener, and a Fel. They need more removal after Fel to go with the Vren to win this game. We need them to not have the removal. We need them to tap out, no removal. We Hunter's Talent plus pay for the ward next turn to kill Vren. That's it. That's our one chance. What kind of mouse is this? It's Mouse Soldier? I don't think I have any other soldiers in my deck anyway, though, so I'm just going to say mouse. Just no more removal in your hand, please. Okay. That's magic, baby. That's just a literally unbeatable hand from our opponent. Okay. What a frustrating loss there. Great rare is great, and we get some more of that Divine Justice. We're bombing too many people out, so we just get ridiculous blowout Vren games from our opponent there. Again, there's literally nothing we can do from there. They move to their end step. They have 2 3/3 rats and Vren on the board with an active Hunter's Talent. Like, alright. You got me, but you also got pretty much every other hand you could ever draw in the Bloomburrow Sealed format. The best sealed decks of all time. We'll just crumple to that. 7,500 gems is what we have locked in here at 5-2. Hoping to get a little bit more, get a little bit farther, but that is 2 losses now. 1 more loss kicks us out of the event here. So let's hope for some slightly less insane plays from our opponent, some more of those completely insane plays from ourselves. Just spin that lottery wheel again. We'll just spin that roulette wheel again as we head into round number 8. Alright, here we are for round 8. This is not a good hand at all. It's way too easy to flood out here. Our 1 creature crumples to anything. Just a light breeze, which makes the Longstock Brawl useless without another creature draw. Yeah, we have to pretty much draw perfectly for this to go well, and it's very easy to flood. Basically, any land draw from then on is terrible. This hand is also pretty terrible. No red source for Scribe. We need double green for Veteran. We at least can Sticky Tongue Sentinel off of any land we draw. And a mulligan to 5 is almost a death sentence, although our opponent has also mulligan to 5. We are on the draw. Single draw gets us to the Sentinel. We can go Sentinel into Duo into Homestead as the hope and the dream. We ditch the Scribe here. Maybe we ditch the Veteran. I have 6 green sources left, 7 red sources left, so I guess Scribe's more likely to get cast than Veteran. Okay. Here we go. Some nerfed hands starting things off. We're on the 6, they're on the 5. We kept a riskier 6, they're probably on a slightly safer 5. But so far so good. We hit the one land that we needed to actually play Sentinel turn 3, and luckily enough, it's also the land to play Scribe. Mirror match here. There's their Valley Flame Caller, excellent card, but if they don't have another removal spell, it can't block a Cruel Claw by itself. I think I would rather play Cruel Claw than Sentinel here on the chance that it gets past. Because they're on a mold to 5 here, they didn't really have much of a choice but to keep this. So it's possible they don't have another creature, or they don't have a removal spell. Although I guess, no, Sentinel is still really reasonable, because if they have removal, they kind of have to kill Sentinel to be able to attack with Flamecaller anyway. So this could just pull the removal out, and now we have Tree Guard Duo, so I could Cruel Claw into the Duo to make it even more likely that it actually connects. So now I have a Cruel Claw, and it's going to get +3/+3 Vigilance on its attack. So even if they set up the double block, we can like kill both the creatures. Yeah, so that's the double block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 power basically, but thanks to Tree Guard Duo, we would still kill both creatures. Right now, Collector's a 3 power first striker. If I had the Homestead first, the Tree Guard Duo gets even more crazy. And we might even be able to have them not kill the Cruel Claw. These draws have been really, really good at this point, but I think our opponent's rare is a little better because it doesn't have to hit me to draw the cards or deal the damage. It just does it. Well, that's a bummer. That's about the only way our opponent still has a chance. They've got an insane mythic of their own. So they have 4, 5, 6, 7. They have more than enough power to kill Cruel Claw, but if I Tree Guard Duo Cruel Claw, it's getting +6. It's 9 toughness against 4, 5, 6, 7. They have to lose Dragonhawk to kill Cruel Claw against Tree Guard Duo. "100% send that bad boy in." And it connects. What does the weasel find? Hugs? Okay. We're just gonna cast every mythic in the deck, and hopefully it's enough to outrace the Dragonhawk. 5 non-land permanents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sacrifice everybody but Cruel Claw and Hugs to play Viper this turn? That can't be right. Wide board state, more attackers than they have blockers is definitely a way to find lethal. Okay, draw the card from the Dragonhawk. It's just a mountain, which is going to do 2 more damage to me. So it's certainly not nothing. Rampager for 2 more blockers is huge. Take another 7 from Dragonhawk next turn. It's not quite dead. They're at 8 here. I have to just like attack all, right? 4 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Viper's insane post-combat. What happens if Dragonhawk dies? Nothing. It's just all the draws. Yeah, Collector's real good here for the first strike hits. Ooh, Cruel Claw hit. Let's go. Heartfire hero. They're at 2. Sure, we discard Mascot for that then. Do I sack here to put them to 1 or just sack a rabbit? I think I just sack a rabbit. It's better blocks, and the hero will still be able to die on attacks, or it just connects and hits just as hard. So yeah, now they have to sack the Collector, and then they have to draw perfectly off the Dragonhawk. It's got to be like a ton of direct damage to face. They're hitting for 7, I'm at 4. I don't think there's anything that just shoots me for 4. They would need to hit 2 different shoot me for 2 cards. Obviously, there's very little they could draw to not die on the crackback, so it's basically just send in. Their top deck and their Dragonhawk Exile have to be good cards. Okay, Recruiter's close, but it doesn't kill me. Oh, it is the double exile though, so what, 9, 10? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to 1? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then they're dead. Oh my god, that was actually pretty close. I mean, I could have Viper blocked the mouse, but it wouldn't have actually stopped any damage. We would still take the same, it dies and deals the 1 to me. So that was insanely close. Alright, well, really lucky game. We played all the mythics again. The deck does seem quite good. I mean, we're at the 5 and 2 bracket. It's going to be all really good decks now. Luckily, they just mulliganed a little harder than us. Honestly, if we both mulled the 6, they would have just won. They were 1 card from victory, pretty much. Reptilian Recruiter is concerning out of nowhere, especially like if Flamecaller is surviving on board. Sazakap Sprue, that's an instant. They've got a Black Splash, we didn't see what for. So that is something to consider as well. All right, let's just head in there for game 2 on the draw. All right, well, very high mana hugs in the late game is a plan. We're hoping to draw any cheap cards. We're able to cast any of them off of all this fixing. So if our opponent has a good aggressive hand and we don't manage to draw any cheap cards, this could be a death sentence. It's awkward to play this on black when I have a double red, double green card, but we're just not going to play this on turn 4 anyway, so this will be my 1 generic mana on X. Oh god. They start with a 2 mana 3/3 on the play. That is exactly what we didn't want to see here. We really wanted to draw cheap cards, and we want them to not be that aggressive with this kind of hand. We've drawn land, and they started with a 2 mana 3/3. This is nightmare scenario, worst case scenario stuff right now. And then we draw a 4-drop. We can banner towards raccoons at least. banner towards warriors is fun. This cash grab. Oh boy. And it picks up the 4/4 that blows up my patchwork banner. I guess I'll go screw myself. I mean, I could name Weasel and it would die. Like, it doesn't matter what I name here, but we'll say Warrior. I kind of want to name Troll. At least I draw a card off the banner. That's something. So yeah, now they're just going to play a 3-mana 4/4 and blow up my banner. Yeah, this deck is horrifying. They have the potential to go 2-mana 3/3, 3-mana 4/4 on the play. I guess if we go to game 3, they won't be on the play. I have to just tap out for Rampager here. It's better than Gecko holding up Overprotects. This 2-mana 3/3 turns into a 7/7 in the late game, by the way. I've already got the instant to use it with, and there's the sorcery, so it's guaranteed to be a 7/7 next turn. 7/7 trample. Okay. New plan. Don't be on the draw against this deck. Now there's a 4/4 and a 7/7 trample attacking us no matter what I cast. I can kill the 4/4 and chump 1 damage from the 7/7 to go to 1 here. And then I can try to play a 5/5, hold up the +3/+3 to block and kill the 7/7. The rest of their hand is just blank pieces of magic. We now have like a 1% chance of victory. But if a single one of these cards does literally anything, we're dead. Even if it's just like a 2-mana 2/2, like that's enough to crumple us at this point. That's exceptionally rude. My blocks are horrible for that. It only costs them 1 mana to trample over. I need to save these to block this, because I need to be able to play a 5/5 block Overprotect on Curator next turn. They need to cast literally nothing for the next 2 turns. That's a start. Oh, I don't even have enough green. I'd need triple green to do this. Because I have to cast Overprotect. Oh. So I have to cast these 2 and Overprotect and keep a 2/2 instead of keeping a 5/5 out of the deal? That is exactly 7 toughness. Again, crumpling to a slight breeze. Any card in the world. And yet I remain. That's a 2/4. I can chump it. Can also block with a 5/5 maybe. Draws them another card. Do they have 2? Okay, I was going to say, there was a visual glitch. 2 scrap shooters went into exile, I'm pretty sure. I was like, they have 2 scrap shooters? I'm gone. Oh, hey, Dragonhawk. I guess I'll die. Alright. Well. Now I'm starting to feel like our deck's as good as I was thinking when I initially saw our rares, where we're like, this is pretty good rares. This is pretty good rares. This is not insane. And then I went on the 5-win streak, and I was like, okay, these rares are pretty insane and stuff. But now we're hitting the quality of decks I was expecting, where I'm like, yeah, I think our deck's a little worse than theirs. Because they all have slightly more rares, or slightly scarier rares. Curator into Scrap Shooter with the top end Dragonhawk. I guess that's on par. It's 50-50 here. Well, not the most interactive games of Magic. Don't think. I don't think we could have easily lost the game we won or won the game we lost. Well, let's hope that that play-draw differential hits us in our favor here as we're on the play for Game 3 of Round 8. Forced Mulligan, you love to see it. This hand's pretty awful, but kind of a must-keep. Rallier, blow up a creature, Tree Guard duo. Both of our main colors. It's a keep. Begrudge and keep. There's no card quality here. There's plenty of castable stuff. Brazen Collector. I'm tempted to just take out the trash on that immediately. But I can also haste out the hero and overprotect here. Which doesn't untap it, and if I attack in, they'll know I have a trick. So we're really hoping they don't have their own take out the trash here. And we did see one in their deck. Yeah, and Arena is holding a little bit for them, so they have an instant here. I just don't block then. Especially when Hero's going to get more counters. Scrap Shooter just as a 4/4. Fair enough. Hello, Hunter's Talent. Right after they play the Scrap Shooter. What swell timing you have. I can do it, but I don't have blocks for Scrap Shooter. Got a 3/3 hero. Setting up to make it ridiculous, but no matter what I play, I don't get to hold up Overprotect. I just don't have the mana for that. Tree Guard Duo would be considerably better as just a land here. Maybe it's worth take out the trash on Collector. Discard a card, draw a card. Discarding Tree Guard Duo. I mean, it's a good play on Heartfire Hero on a future turn. And if I don't hit a land instead of the duo, it's not like a great turn or anything. I don't know. I guess we have enough really strong cards in our deck. It's fine to just do this. 3 Tree Mascot's really not one of them, but we got it out of the way towards the stronger stuff. Didn't get to hold up Overprotect, though, which is a bummer. If anything, this means it would have been a pretty long time till I was casting that 4-drop anyway. I wouldn't be playing it next turn if I didn't take out the trash. God, that's pretty unlucky. We were literally doing everything in our power to dig for the mana to be able to hold up Overprotect, because we can't afford to cast literally nothing there still. And they had to take out the trash we did not hit the mana for. Yeah, these draws are disgusting. Double mascot now. Hunter's Talent is useless at this point. Guess I should have just Hunter's Talented the 2-1, but I'd be in the exact same predicament here, where I have a Rallier and garbage in my hand. Five mana from our opponent. Flame Caller's big. I can't afford to cast anything or I just die because I can't block. All right. I think Arena's finally cooked us out of this one. And obviously, if they have any spell in the universe, we're just gonna die because they get to have all their mana up. Sick. Not a remotely winnable game of Magic here, it looks like. Okay, well, Brew doesn't actually kill the raccoon in response to that. Thought that was going to be another take out the trash or something. Oh, but it draws into the feed the cycle or fills the graveyard for the forage. Trade into Valley Flamecaller here and take 5, go to 5. But they just have more gas. The luck catches up to us, and we have an unwinnable game to end it off. Auto loss in the end at 5-3. We definitely didn't play perfectly today, but I'm very happy with the deck that I went with. I think this was probably the strongest deck we had in the sealed pool, taking another look at those other decks. With how this one played out, I'm super confident that this build is where we want to be. Yeah, I think we built a great deck. Certainly, again, did not play particularly well, but I think the only games that I played really poorly were in rounds that we won anyway. It really felt like all of our losing rounds, we just hit some super bad draws a couple times in a row. Our opponent had a really good deck. Like, they're the kind of games that you can just re-watch on flashback and just be like, I mean, whatever options you go with, you just die in the end. Like that very last game of Magic where it's like, well, I can sit here on 3 mana and die in a multitude of different ways, but die nonetheless. So a bummer of an ending here at 5-3, but it's still a great record for a competitive event like this. Still really happy with how I built the deck, and the prize out is pretty good at 7,500 gems. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.